night in a pretty setting. Look at the golden glow.
I know. It's beautiful.
It is.
I tell you what, ever since they redid this stadium and every ounce of it, and I'm talking about just not the field and the track, but even the fence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's nothing but class.
It's a really nice place.
It's very collegiate the way it looks. New lights help too immensely.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But even before the new lights, Monett always had about the best lights in the conference, Big 8 conference, Monett and Webb City. But Monetts were getting a number of lights out and missing, and instead of taking the trouble of trying to replace all those, they just replaced the whole stands.
I tell you, anymore, you can light so much with fewer lights than you used to. You know, there's only 4 poles here, and used to, some places might have twice as many.
Well, we used to have 4 poles, but we had many more lights on the bank up there, you know, than we have now.
Yeah, it's a good place. Well, I'm going to try to fire us up and see if we can get it going here.
If I remember correctly, I think one of those old light poles fell down. I think that's when they decided
I think you're right.
to go with all new poles. And so I think one of them fell down.
I think you're right.
Did you give me something here for me? Good.
Give you everything you might need, and if you don't need it, just throw it away. Yes, ma'am.
Talent Sports Network, proud to present area high school football. Exciting play-by-play action of the Monett Cubs. Right. That's all of our sponsors for helping support today's. Remember to stop by and thank your local Monett sponsors every chance you get, and keep it Talent Sports Network for every exciting play season long.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Burrow Fowler Stadium. This is Benji Finsky, alongside my broadcast partner, Leonard Bauer, our producer-engineer, Daisy Kayaz, and our cameraman, Jeff Ogle. We're live in Monett, where tonight the Monett Cubs will host the Cassville Wildcats in the Battle of Berry County. Monett, under the guidance of second-year head coach Derek Ewell, is 4-1 on the season following last week's workmanlike 28-7 victory at Aurora. The Cubs ran for almost 250 yards while racking up over 330 yards in total offense against the Hound Dogs. Michael Branch led the way with 182 yards on the ground on 23 carries. He also posted 3 touchdowns as Monett scored the game's final 22 points. Cassville, under the leadership of Coach Lance Parnell, is also 4-1 on the year following last Friday's home win versus St. James. The Wildcats, after losing in Week 1 to Lamar, are working on a 4-game winning streak as they enter tonight's contest. 1 year ago, Monett traveled down to Cassville in Week 5, and they handled the Wildcats 34-6. Tonight, Monett comes into the game averaging over 37 points per contest while giving up 18. Cassville, on the other hand, is averaging 27.5 while giving up just over 21. Two very good offensive teams with solid, if not spectacular, defenses. Should be a good matchup. Let me welcome in my broadcast partner, Leonard Bauer. Leonard, both teams are 4-1. Both teams have lost to Lamar. Cassville ranked number 2 in the districts at this point, with Monett nipping at their heels at number 3. Simply stated, this is a huge game.
Definitely. In the district, in the conference, and for the bragging rights of Berry County, this game has been designated as the Berry County Brawl, and there's a traveling trophy that the two schools have bought and passed back and forth to whoever wins this particular game. So, and also the two head coaches, Coach Ewell and Cassville's coach, are very good friends. Coach Ewell went and coached at Cassville for a year, with
Parnell.
Coach Parnell.
Yeah.
And so it's just, and a lot of the people from Cassville and Monett work together, and, bragging rights there at work. All of that's at stake here tonight on a very beautiful night at Burl Fowler Stadium.
Yeah, there's familiarity between these two teams, between these two communities. Monett has played arguably the toughest part of their schedule in the early part of the season. Cassville still has games left with Aurora and Mount Vernon. So this really becomes a must-win for the Wildcats. So obviously the Cubs need to win it as well. But I tell you what, both of these teams can generate a lot of momentum to the stretch run with a win tonight.
Extremely important for momentum's sake. And as you point out, the team that wins this tonight will certainly have the inside track on second place in the Big 8 Conference, because I don't think anyone is going to overtake Lamar, obviously, since they've already beaten Monett and Cassville. I don't think any of the other conference teams will challenge them. So it's for second place in the conference, probably second place in the district, and maybe first. At this point, the district standings can change every week, so it's not too important where you are right now. But all of those things are involved in this game tonight, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and that being said, though, Leonard, the winner of this one takes a leg up on better securing a second-round home game in the district play, because the top 4 teams in district get to host round 1 during week 10, and then winners advance, and if the top seeds advance, then the top 2 host in round 2. So right now Cassville just fraction of a point ahead of Monett. If Monett wins tonight, they'll leapfrog Cassville. But then, as you said, they can change a lot over the last 3 weeks.
They really can, but the Cubs, if they get by this game with Seneca, East Newton, and McDonald County left on their conference schedule, you'd have to think that the Cubs would be prohibitive favorites in all 3 of those. So Cassville's road ahead is a little bit tougher, as you point out. But, that second seed or first seed in the district is very important, especially for the Cubs. They'd like to host district games here on their own turf and not have to worry about some muddy field somewhere that they're not used to.
That's right. It's the Cubs and the Wildcats live from Burl Fowler as they renew a rivalry that has been a part of 7 decades in Southwest Missouri. The Home Shield Pest Control kickoff less than 30 minutes away. When we return, Leonard and I will look at Big 8 games from Week 5 and take a look at tonight's conference slate. Stay tuned for more of our pregame after this timeout. You're listening to the Monett Cubs and Big 8 Conference Football live on KKBL and the Talon Sports Network.
Steel owners don't need to worry about precision piston engineering, high-tech polymer housing, or advanced systems. At Steel, we've already thought that. Our customers can just start their equipment and get to work. See dealer for details.
By Coast to Coast, your locally authorized steel at 500 South Kyler in Monett. Check out their complete line of steel chainsaws, mowers, and trimmers. Steel is the #1 brand of gas-powered handheld outdoor power in America. Coast to Coast in Monett. Steel. No worries. Just salute.
You're welcome at Bruner Pharmacy. For 3 generations, nearly 40 years, Bruner Pharmacy family has lived, worked, and supported the fine Monett community that they call home. Bruner Pharmacy is a full-line pharmacy, Hallmark Gold Crown Gift Center, where items and gift ideas are added continuously. Now you can log on to their new website, BrunerPharmacy.com, to place your order and view their partial listing of prescription plans available. They offer free delivery, city limits, compounding services, Spanish-speaking staff, and accept nearly all insurance plans, all with friendly service. Bruner Pharmacy, your local Hallmark Gold Crown gift store. Really upgrades to meet your every pharmaceutical and gift-giving need at 321 Broadway in Monett. Whether you're a seasoned athlete, weekend warrior, or just need help resuming activities, the experts at Cox Monett help. As the exclusive sports providers for the Monett Cubs, Aurora Hounds, and Mount Vernon Mountaineers, our athletic trainers are the team behind the team. Injury prevention, assess and treat athletes, and provide nutrition counseling, conditioning, and training. For more information, call 62480. Cox experts, friends, neighbors.
Huffmaster Insurance Agency in Monett is an independent agent, which means we have the resource to shop around and find the type of insurance that is best for your needs and your budget. We hear a lot of messages thrown every day about how much money you can save by signing up with an M. Do you really want to trust your assets with a cute little lizard? Call Huffmaster Agency 417-235-5555. We are located at 811 7th Street in Missouri. We are customer-friendly and lizard-free.
This is David from Monett Rental, and you're listening to Cub Sports on 95.9 KL The Buzz. This live broadcast of high school on the Talent Sports Network is brought to you in part by Sportscaster Club members. The Berry County Health Department. Whether you need your well water tested or about flu shots, check with the Berry County Health Department offices in Monett and Cassville. Cassville office at 847-2114 or the Monett office at 35402 for more information. Bank of Southern Missouri with locations in Cassville, Wigmont, Willard, Shellknott, and Golden to serve. Visit them online at freedomvk.com. Member FDIC, equal housing. When your belly is raging for something Cajun, maybe a hand-cut steak or some great Italian spaghetti and meatballs, head on over to the restaurant, Highway 60 in Phil Davidson, State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. For life, auto, or health, call Davidson 466-76.
Just a reminder that you're listening to Monett Cubs football on KKBL 95.9 FM, Monett, Missouri. You can also catch live streaming audio of tonight's broadcast at radiotalon.com, or if you'd like to watch a video of tonight's contest, go to MonettWebTV.com, and Web TV coverage brought to you in part by Country Dodge, South Highway 37 in Cassville, Missouri. Call 847-2137 or visit them online at GoCountryDodge.com. 1 week ago in the Big 8 Conference, 4 games that featured Big 8 schools. Monett at Aurora, the Cubs rallied from a 7-6 deficit to win it 28-7. St. James at Cassville, the Wildcats won that one 21-12 in a tight contest. Seneca playing at East Newton. The East Newton Patriots 14, the Seneca Indians nothing, and that was East Newton's first win since September 5th, 2014, when they beat Diamond 34-26 in overtime. And before that, it was October 4th, 2013, as East Newton defeated McDonald County 16-0 in that one. And then last week, McDonald County at Mount Vernon, it was all Mountaineers 53-8 in that one. And so first of all, congratulations to the East Newton Patriots.
Right. That was, that had to be depressing for those young men to work so hard and be so frustrated for so long. And that was a big win. Seneca had won a game or two and was a somewhat quality opponent. So that's got to be a great motivator for those young men from East Newton. They always played hard. They just didn't have many bodies on the field.
I think this year they have over 35 kids on the roster, which makes a difference. They have a new coach with Coach LaSalle being down there, and it appears that they're playing better each week, and they got a big win. And it's their first conference victory since, I think you told me, 2009.
2009, I believe.
And their first conference shutout that goes back even further than that. So, you got to start somewhere, and that victory will give them some momentum going the remainder of the season. And a team to watch out for. We said it a week ago. the Mountaineers from Mount Vernon, they're getting hot. They got behind last week, Leonard, 8-0 in the early part. They got their first drive was stopped immediately. McDonald County took the ball down the field, scored. Might have been reversed, but McDonald County scored 8 points. Then they shut down Mount Vernon, and then after that, Mount Vernon posted 53 points. So
they are definitely a coming team. We saw that when we played them. In the second half, they gave the Cubs all they could handle. And I'm just impressed with what Coach Tom Cox is doing over there. And he's making them believe that they can win. And, I think they're going to be a handful for any team in district play to handle.
Yeah, and they throw the ball well, and they have just a slew of talented receivers, and they're getting better each week. After last week, Lamar, by the way, had a bye going into that week. Lamar is 4-0 in conference play. Cassville and Monett and Mount Vernon all 2-1 in the Big 8, followed by Seneca and Aurora at 1-2. East Newton now 1-3. McDonald County 0-3. So it's Lamar and then a cluster at second between Cassville, Monett, and Mount Vernon.
Right, and this game tonight will do a lot to indicate how that is going to break out. But I believe now, well, I haven't seen Cassville play, but I'm thinking based on record up till now that they will probably beat Mount Vernon, but I'll guarantee you they'll have their hands full. And even if they beat Monett tonight, they may have their trouble beating Mount Vernon.
Yeah, there's that middle pack. And remember, these are Tom Cox's words, not mine. He didn't know if Mount Vernon was the worst of the best, or the best of the worst. And I'm thinking he's moving quicker to the best of the best if they keep putting up 53 points a game.
Let's keep them the worst of the best if we can.
There you go. Well, tonight in the Big 8, Aurora travels to Seneca. And Aurora 1-4 on the season. Seneca 2-3. Seneca reeling after that loss a week ago. Cassville here at Monett. Lamar at McDonald County. Obviously a big favorite there. And Mount Vernon on the road at East Newton. So, some interesting matchups, but none of them as big as the one right here at Borough Fowler.
This one, I think, would have to be the featured game of the night in the conference. And I was telling you, it's also the Channel 3 game of the week that they're covering tonight. Mount Vernon and East Newton, interesting, but I think Mount Vernon's got too much firepower. But other than this one, Aurora and Seneca might be the next most competitive game. Seneca, it's at Seneca, and Seneca's got to be chafing from that loss to East Newton. Aurora's coming on, but we saw last week they have some weaknesses. And I think that might be a very competitive game, as well as this one here tonight.
Oh, I think so. And looking at Monett's opponent tonight, the Cassville Wildcats, they were shut out in week 1 at Lamar 50-0. But since that time, they've ripped off 4 straight wins, an impressive victory against Reed Springs, 27-6. Then they beat East Newton at home as well, 42-16. Then they traveled to McDonald County, 33-22 victory, and then hosted St. James Tigers, 21-12, a victory there. So, not the most difficult part of their season after week 1, but they've taken care of business.
They have. And I think these two teams were probably fairly equally matched. I think the one advantage the Cubs have, though, Cassville has been basically a ground-oriented team, throwing the ball very little, and they have a very good ground game and a very good running back in River Phelps. However, the Cubs also have a good running game and a very good running back in Michael Branch, and the Cubs also have thrown the ball with a great deal of success. So I think the advantage the Cubs have offensively is that the Cubs are much more balanced than the Wildcats.
Yeah, I think you're right there that they're able to mix things up quite a bit more. We're still about 19 minutes away from the Home Show Pest Control kickoff. That'll give us an opportunity to slip away and hear from some of our outstanding sponsors. When we return, we will take a look at some of the key players in tonight's contest as we look over the starting lineups from Burl Fowler Field. We'll be back with more of our pregame after this timeout.
It seems with Giant Faithless Holdings, of a local bank that's truly the hometown bank, hometown people, with all the stability and strength of large holding companies, it's to understand your banking needs. The spot's always on at First State Bank. They you're always welcome at any of their locations. Purdy, Monett, Pierce City, Cassville, First State Bank, the hometown bank, hometown people. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Larry Manning, President, Bank of Purdy. We invite you to come by and State Bank of Purdy.
Who that Monett? That's Southern seafood like catfish, shrimp, oysters.
I don't know. Who that?
Who that Monett? Children wants po' boys and muffalata. Who that? Who that Monett? Hand cut, half-pound burgers. Cook to order. Hey, this is Darren at the restaurant in Monett. Come see Waterfall. Has all the favorites that you like, including kids menu too. We also have a sports bar and a private banquet or party room for full availability. Call you in Monett at 864 House 60 or call 235-700. Hey, and while I got your attention, the Bayou Restaurant in Monett is also a proud sponsor of a show on KKBL Radio 5.9 FM every Saturday called Midnight Metal Madness. It's got a lot of rock, a good timeless metal, with many toys. It comes on every Saturday night at
Monett Cub football.
I'm Benji Finsky.
I'm Leonard Bauer.
And I'm Daisy Kayes. We're the team that covers the Monett Cubs football team every Friday.
You can listen to us on the radio that we've been doing for decades.
Or you can catch us online live at MonettWebTV.com for video and streaming audio.
If you can't see the games when they air, we always archive them on our website.
Be sure to catch every Monett game, including playoffs, this fall.
Right here at KKBL 95.9, your home for all things Monett Cubs.
Customers, skilled employees, modern CNC, and a dedication to meeting customer needs and expectations ensure quality while providing turnaround of required components. IMEC, located at 1716th Night in Monett, is a proud supporter of the Monett.
What happened to paying one price and get everything included? You buy an airline ticket, extra to bring a change of clothes, book a hotel room, and you're shelling out for Wi-Fi, priced bottled water. Really? Imagine my delight when I found out roadside is now included with my shelter insurance policy. So if I get a flat tire or need, I just call and they take care of me. Additional cost, but some restrictions apply.
Brought to you by Shelter Insurance. The Andy Brandt for a free insurance.
Foods Incorporated is the world's largest privately held cheese processing company. Ever is the largest private label cheese supplier, retail market, and the largest food cheese supplier. Customer loyalty, long-term job security depend on being the what you do.
Ezekiel
Private Foods has associated being a member of the Monett community. Forward to their continued involvement in. Jack Henry and Associates was founded in 1976 to provide the computer system banks need to process financial transaction data. Today, the company is a recognized industry leader offering a broad array of solutions managing mission-critical business information, processing transactions, and automating processes. Today, the technology solutions provided by Jack Henry and Associates are used by more than 8,700 financial services organizations of all asset sizes and charges, and diverse businesses outside the financial. Jack Henry and Associates, West Highway and Monett. World leader in aluminum solutions. They are provide your future through a global reach and local presence within extrusions, building systems, and tubing. Indefinitely recyclable and sustainable, aluminum is the perfect answer for industry. Sapa places great importance on a safe working environment and adhering to their core values. Sapa employees have a for success and a desire to serve their customers and community. For employment opportunities, at 808 County Road or call 41235-7841. Plant has been providing innovative aluminum solutions since 1965.
Do you have a big outdoor project you think you can't do yourself? Project you don't have the right tools or equipment for? Well, before you hire a pro to do the job, check with Monett Rental and They've got hundreds of tools for rent and ready.
questions and show you how to safely do rent. Brent from Monett Rental and Sales, your projects done affordably and done right. Whether it's that new patio brick, a skid loader to help you move heavy loads, or a nail and post auger to help you that deck you've been dreaming of, helps you do a professional job without pro prices. Visit us at Monett Rental and Sales, 3 miles east of 60, or call 60308. And remember, when it comes to your next project, renting's the smart way to get.
This game also brought to you in part by Sports World. For in-stock area team logo clothing and Letterman jackets, or for screen printing and embroidery on shirts, caps, uniforms, and more, call 847-5366 or stop by 709 Main Street on the Square in Cassville. This game also brought to you in part by Quick Draw Gun in Monett, the place to buy, sell, or trade firearms of all types. Open evenings and Saturdays to meet customer needs with a great selection of new and used firearms. Quick Draw Gun is right off Highway 60 in Monett at 601 South Kyler, or you can visit them online at quickdrawgun.com. Leonard, big crowd on hand here. The Battle of Berry County, or they call it the Brawl now, Berry County Brawl. But a big crowd here supporting the Cubs, but if you look across, the east sidelines are filling up nicely as well.
I think the Cassville stands will be packed, and the Monett side is definitely getting packed. And I notice some sort of industrious or imaginative fans from Cassville have brought folding chairs and are sitting on the little hillside on the northeast corner of the stadium in their chairs, and that's more comfortable than sitting on those hard benches. So and I'm sure they thought the stands would be full, and I think they will by the time this game gets underway.
A big crowd, and they were entertained by the Monett High School Marching Band, performed the school fight song and, of course, the national anthem. And we get closer to tonight's opening kickoff. We take a look at some of the key players in this one. First of all, for the Monett offense, they're led under the guidance of senior quarterback Ian Meyer, a 6'2", 190-pound senior. He's been fairly consistent throughout the year and has thrown the ball very well. Their tailbacks tonight, Michael Branch, you'll hear us call his name quite often, 6 foot, 220-pound senior. And I guess we need to go ahead and make the conversion now.
All right, I'll explain that.
You go ahead and explain it.
We want to make a correction. In our program, it says number 42, Aaron Howard. And so for the last 3 years, we have referred to number 42 as Aaron Howard. But I started noticing in the newspaper, he's referred to as Onis Howard, and some of the coaches I've heard call him Onis. So tonight, before the game, I went up to Mr. Howard, and I said, "What is your name?" I said, "What would you like to be called?" He's Aaron or Onis. And he said, "Well, either one's all right." And I said, "Well, which would you prefer?" And he said, "I guess I'd prefer Onis." So from henceforth, we will refer to number 42 as Onis Howard instead of Aaron Howard.
Unless, of course, I make a mistake.
And we forget, yes.
So,
that's very possible.
But we will try. We will also call a lot of Onis Howard's name tonight. He's been running the ball very well. In addition to Michael Branch, a good 1-2 punch.
Well, he's become the Cubs' do-everything player, taking Cameron Witt's place somewhat. He punts. He plays a really strong defensive game. He runs the ball well on offense. He's just a little bit of everything for the Cubs.
The receivers for the Cubs, Brian Parra Navarro, a 5'10", 170-pound senior. He's working on a very nice year, as is a 5'9", 170-pound senior, Mason Swearingen. The tight end, 6'4", 230-pound senior, Alex Turner. And Alex plays kind of all over the place. He's kind of like an H-back sometimes as he lines up in the backfield as well. So we'll be calling those names a lot. And across the front, names like Brown, Long, Anderson, Butterworth, and Barkowski, those guys have been a stabilizing influence. And last week, Monett rode the coattails of that offensive line to a victory.
Yes, anyone who knows anything about football knows that the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen somewhat are the unsung heroes. A team's success depends on how well they perform and execute. And thus far, even against Lamar, Monett was able to score 34 points behind that offensive line. So those young men have been doing a really fine job. We don't call their names much because they don't carry the ball or they don't get in on the tackle. Maybe even the defensive linemen up front oftentimes don't make the tackle, but they take the interference out of the way so the linebackers and the defensive backs can make the tackle. So those people are very important, and those linemen, both offensively and defensively for the Cubs, have been doing a very good job up to this point.
For the Cassville Wildcats, their quarterback's a 5'9", 160-pound sophomore, Shannon Haney, and their go-to back, a 5'9", 150-pound senior, kind of a scat back, is River Phelps, and we'll be calling Mr. Phelps' name quite often tonight.
Yes, he's small, but he's also a very powerful running. He can run inside as well as outside, and very elusive when he gets into the opening. So you can be sure that he will receive a lot of attention from the Cubs defense tonight.
The other running back, a 5'10", 175-pound senior, Kyle Ruark. The receiving group, 6'1", 185-pound senior, Colin Perriman. 6'1", 185-pound sophomore, Austin Sanders, and a 5'9", 155-pound senior, Troy Rose, are the receivers for the Wildcats. Across the front for Cassville, left tackle is Austin McClintock. Left guard is Hunter Bailey. The center, Jesus Perez. The right guard, Devin Phelps. And the right tackle, Riley Fletcher. And a pretty big line, especially on the right side, as Perez, Phelps, and Fletcher go 225, 255, and 235 on that right side.
Yes, but even though they do have good size, the Cubs have even better size. In past years, we used to talk about how the Cubs were so much smaller than their opponents, and the Cubs have finally got some good size on their offensive line, and there have been very few teams this year that have been bigger than the Cubs in the line.
In case you can't tell, the Monett Cubs have made an appearance. They're on the field, and the Wildcats are warming up in the north end zone, and we are just minutes away from tonight's opening kickoff. We're going to slip away one final time here in the pregame, and when we return, it'll be time for the Home Show Pest Control kickoff here at Burrow Fowler. Back after this timeout.
It's no joke. Don't make it easy complicated when all you have to do is pick up the phone. Monett Glass and Mirror, call at 417-235-6018. From a broken window to custom shower doors, pesky crack in your car window that just here, Monett Glass and Mirror can help. Don't wait. Give Jeff and the guys a call at 417-235-6018. If it shatters, it matters at Monett Glass and Mirror, 1500 Wellington Avenue in Monett. On to monettglass.com or call 7-235-6018.
Time since 1899. Give you the whole story on what's going on in the community, not just bits and pieces. Taxpayer, you deserve nothing less. That's why our colleagues have named us amongst the best daily newspapers in the state. So to the Times for local news, sports, opinions on issues that matter to you. 417-235-3115 to subscribe today. That's 417-235-3115.
In 1968, Jimmy Mitchell Motors founded on these basic principles: provide people with quality vehicles and exceptional deal, and always treat the customer the way you treated. Hi, I'm Chad Fott. 4 generations and almost 50 years later, Jimmy Mitchell Motors continues to honor these traditional. About Jimmy Mitchell Motors, you'll find a vast of new vehicles to sell. You too can experience customer satisfaction at Jimmy Mitchell Motors, Aurora.
Back at Burrow Fowler, just moments away from tonight's opening kickoff. Both teams on the field now. Monett in their home purple jerseys, their gold pants trimmed in purple, the traditional purple helmet with the gold M on the side. The Cassville Wildcats in their traveling white jerseys and white pants. They have the black helmets with a gold stripe. The Wildcats on the far sideline, the homestanding Cubs here on the near sideline. A near-capacity crowd here at Burrow Fowler, and they still coming in, Leonard, as you look across the way here. So a big crowd, but there's always room for more. So if you want to see some good football, come out to Burrow Fowler in the next few minutes. What do you think, Leonard? It's a good atmosphere for high school football, and it's a big game for these two schools.
We've already talked about the the district implications, the conference implications, the Berry County implications, and it's all going to unfold before us here and shortly, and we'll try to, for those of who couldn't make it here, we'll try to give them a verbal picture of what's taking place, and I think they'll find it exciting. The Monett's captains tonight could be described as the large and the small. The large is Aiden Brown and Curran Bartkowski, two huge linemen, and the small are Onus, formerly Aaron Howard, and Brian Paro Navarro, two small defensive backs and offensive receivers. So those are the four captains for the Cubs here tonight.
As we approach kickoff, the temperature outside, 86 degrees, a late season warm spell. It feels like 88 at this point. The humidity is low at 45%. The wind out of the south-southeast at 9 miles per hour. A very warm evening here in week 6, and but a perfect night for the spectators as we look on. Not a cloud in the sky, and we will have perfect weather for this game tonight as the temperatures will drop into the low to mid 70s as the game progresses. Captains on the field, as Leonard said. They're talking it over with the referee as we get ready for the toss. It's always fun when these teams get together, and to this day, the most intense contest that I broadcast was one down in Cassville several years ago when Monett upset the Wildcats 10-6. You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to advance into the playoffs. That was the year that Monett made a run to the state semifinals.
Well, I've seen a number of intense games between these two teams through the year. I think the one that I remember the most is, it's not this game, but remember at Cassville we had an overtime game?
Yes.
And Cassville scored first and made the 1-point conversion, went ahead by 7. Monett scored and went for 2 and scored the 2-point conversion and won it. To me, that was probably the most intense, but I've seen many between these two schools.
Cassville won the opening toss. They've deferred to the second half, so unless I'm surprised, Monett will receive the ball first here. Cassville, as I said, deferred to the second half, so Monett has elected to receive the ball. The Cubs will defend the goal to the north. Cassville will go right to left as we look on, as they'll kick it from the south to the north. What little breeze there is will be at the backs of the Wildcats as we open this one, but as we look at Old Glory, it's hanging pretty limp at this point.
Speaking of the history of these two clubs, one year the game was played at Cassville, and during the course of the game a fog moved in, and it was the foggiest game I've ever seen. You could not see the stands on the other side of the field.
Oh my.
It was hard to see the players on your side of the field, and just one of the things I remember from the history of these two schools.
Well, this is a rivalry that dates back 60-plus years, and it has turned into really one of the better rivalries in Southwest Missouri over the last decade or so. And it's another chapter tonight here at Burrow Fowler. It's the Cubs and the Wildcats. 12 minutes placed on the clock. T brought out and placed on the 40. And we are just seconds away from the kickoff, as River Phelps will be booting it away. He's kind of the do-all guy for the Wildcats. He kicks and he runs. A leader on this Cassville Wildcat squad. As Phelps approaches the ball, it's in the air. It's high end over end kick that will go into the end zone and over the head of Onus Howard, and the Cubs will take over at the 20-yard line.
An impressive kick from a small kicker, but he has a big leg. At least he did on that kick. The ball landed at least 3 to 4 yards in the end zone. And in high school ball, you can't run it out. The ball automatically comes to the 20 when that happens.
Cubs come to the line of scrimmage at the 20. 3 receivers wide to the right, 2 wide left. Meyer, working out of the shotgun, now looks to the west sideline to get his play called in. Barks out instructions to his offensive line. Takes the snap, back to pass. Now he'll run it up the middle, makes one man miss, dives forward out to about the 23-yard line. A gain of 3 on the play to be 2nd and 7.
Number 77, Devin Phelps on the stop there. Benji, I've never noticed the Cubs take such wide splits before. They had like 3-yard splits between their linemen, and their back spread all the way from sideline to sideline. This time they're back in tighter splits.
Here comes Michael Branch on the handoff. Hit hard as he gets to the 25. He falls forward near the 26. The Cubs will face 3rd down and about 5 here in the initial series of the game. 3rd and 4.
Austin McClintock on the stop for the Wildcats this time. This time the Cubs are spread again. I'll let you tell them that.
Yep, wide 3 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. And again, as you mentioned, Leonard, wide splits, especially between the center and right guard, and the right guard and the right tackle. Meyer takes the snap, back to pass. He has time. Flush from the pocket now, cuts it up to the 25, across the 30, dives to the 33, and that'll be a Cub first down.
Number 49, that's Kyle Ruark, and number 74, Austin McClintock on the stop, but not until quarterback Ian Meyer gained a first down at about the Monett 33-yard line.
Meyer with 10 yards on a couple of carries. First down and 10 for Monett from the 33. Branch is the lone tailback, and it'll be Michael with it running left. He's to the 35 and tripped up there as he dives out to about the 38-yard line. He'll pick up 5 and he'll bring up 2nd down.
That was River Phelps who tripped him up, and if he hadn't gotten a hold of Michael's ankle and caused him to fall, Michael might have gone the distance. He was just about to break into the open.
He really was. Good tackle there on the outside. 2nd down and 5 for the Cubs, and they're back to a 4-receiver set this time, as Meyer will give on the inside handoff to his wide receiver running near side to the final. Yeah, it's Navarro who cuts it back across the grain, and looking for blocks, he gets to the 45 to the 46. He gains about 7 yards, but he ran about 50 to make it.
Brought down by River Phelps and Garrett Knight, but you're right. He put in a lot of distance there, but it was good for 1st and 10, moving the sticks to the Monett 46-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Cubs at that point. Brian Navarro came awfully close to breaking it on the far side after he had started around the near side.
He really did. Brian running very hard there. He was retreating, then moving forward, and then finally picked up 8 officially on the play. First down for the Cubs from their own 46. A timeout on the field as the Cubs call a timeout here in the early going. Timeout on the field. 9:34 left, first quarter. No score from Burrow Fowler. Back after this timeout.
The Monett Cubs Athletic Boost would like to invite you to become part of this season's Cub Pride Catch the Spirit membership drive. Athletic programs serve as the window to the and community. Becoming part of the Monett Athletic Booster Club will help the athletic and support efforts to keep Monett growing. They support high school athletic programs with volunteer support to help promote team spirit. Financial or volunteering time is greatly appreciated. For more information about joining the Cubs Athletic, contact Booster Club member. And don't forget to follow them on Facebook for the latest on upcoming.
We owe you a station identification. You're listening to Monett Cubs football on KKBL 95.9 FM, Monett, Missouri. 1st and 10 as we resume action. Monett with it at their own 46-yard line. Cubs have picked up 2 first downs in this drive. They started at their own 20. They've advanced it out to the 46. After the timeout, the Cubs break huddle, and they send a wide receiver. That's Para Navarro to the slot to the right side. Motion behind the quarterback. Now a handoff to Branch, running near side. Runs over one would-be tackler, but the second one gets him and slows him up enough. After a gain of only a yard or 2, it'll be 2nd long.
Once again, that's River Phelps for the Wildcats, making that sure tackle on Michael Branch and preventing him from picking up basically any positive yardage. It's basically 2nd and 10 for the Cubs.
Tip of the football at the 47. 2nd long for Monett. as they come out with two wing backs, and the tailback is Michael Branch. Meyer, the senior quarterback, brings motion behind him. Back to pass on play action. He has a man wide open. Para Navarro, and he threw to the wrong man. He threw it out here to Crawford, who was covered, but Brian Para Navarro was wide open in the middle of the field.
When he released the ball, I thought he was throwing it to Brian, and Brian, as you point out, was 10 yards behind any defender, wide open, and Ian did not see him. And Brody was well covered along the sideline where he threw it. Just one of those things, from up here, we can see a lot better.
That's right.
We don't have 250-pound linemen in our face.
That's right. Third down and nearly 10 there. That was a great play action by the quarterback. He really was very calm in the pocket. Unfortunately, just went for the wrong receiver. Cubs come out with 5 receivers. Back to pass, Meyer with time. Flips it over the middle and overshoots his intended receiver. And the incompletion will bring up 4th down in a punting situation.
Those were two unfortunate situations. Brian Para Navarro was wide open over the middle and would have picked up the 1st and 10, but Ian overthrew him. So Cubs are going to have to give up the football via the punt.
Line of scrimmage, the 47. Howard standing at his own 34. Snap back is a good one. Howard kicks it toward the near sideline for a catch called for. The ball hits and takes a Cubs bounce inside the 20 down to the 17, and that's where the Wildcats will have it.
Very effective punt again from Onis Howard.
Yes.
And Cubs have put the Wildcats into favorable position for the Cubs as the ball is fairly deep in Wildcat territory at the 17.
36-yard punt, no return. And the Wildcats will have it for the first time. Their quarterback, Shannon Haney, 5'9", 160-pound sophomore. Wears number 17 on his uniform jersey. Split backs behind him. We'll watch out for River Phelps. And this time it's a hand up the middle to Ruark, who's wide open in the open field to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. He's hit, stays on his feet, dives, touchdown Wildcats. 83 yards for the score. Wow, the Wildcats caught lightning in a bottle. Ruark took it the distance, 83 yards, and Cassville leads it 6-0 with 8:15 left here in the first quarter. Well, I think everybody in the world was watching out for River Phelps, and no one saw Ruark right up the middle, and he was wide open in the open field. The PAT upcoming as Phelps will attempt to give the Wildcats a 7-point lead. Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It is wide to the right, no good. And the score remains 6-0. 8:15 left, first quarter action. The Wildcats on top. We'll be back with more action after this timeout.
Everyone wanted to go Jeepin', and then you became an adult? You forgot about having fun? Come on, Springfield. I know you better than that. If it's been a while since...
When buying a car, what's most important to you? Price? Selection? Service? How about a stress-free buying experience? At Jimmy Mitchell Motors, you can have it all. At Jimmy Mitchell Motors, every vehicle comes with our commitment to total customer satisfaction. Plus, you always get top dollar for your trade. With hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot, now's the time to choose the one that's perfect for you. Visit us online or come see us in downtown Aurora today, and you'll see why we say,
nobody beats our deal.
The Cubs are going to have their hands full.
And if the Cubs needed a wake-up call, they've got one now.
But it was obvious in that first drive that the Cubs can pass at will if they just do so and hit the right receiver.
Kickoff into the end zone for the second consecutive time, so Monett will take over. 1st and 10 at the 20. Ruark, by the way, a 5'10", 175-pound senior, 83-yard touchdown run for him to start the game. And Monett faces a deficit, a first quarter deficit for the second week in a row. Actually, for the third week in a row. See if they can come back here tonight. 1st and 10. Here's a handoff up the middle to Branch. And Branch hit at the line of scrimmage and goes nowhere. Be little or no gain on the play, bringing up 2nd long.
Number 39 for the Wildcats, that's Gilbert Medina on the stop.
Second down and long for Monett. They come out with a spread look this time with 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the near side. The Wildcats with 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers, 4 defensive backs. Meyer takes the snap, back to pass, looking left, throwing left, and through the hands of Brian Parra Navarro, the incompletion will bring up 3rd down.
That pass was a little bit high, but it could have and probably should have been caught. That's 3 times Brian Parra Navarro should have had the ball. Once he couldn't catch it, once it wasn't thrown to him, and that time he should have had it probably and didn't hang on to it.
Cubs face 3rd and long. Down by 6. They have it at their own 20-yard line. Again, 3 receivers wide to the left, 2 to the near sideline. Back to pass, Meyer, pump fakes. Now running left, throws late. The pass is nearly intercepted. It is knocked down on the far sideline, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Number 23 for the Wildcats, that's River Phelps. The ever-present River Phelps almost intercepted it. So the Cubs are off to a very shaky start now as they have to punt again to the Wildcats.
Phelps and Knight back deep for the Wildcats as they stand near their 40. Onis Howard to kick it away. Rugby style, he's going to run it himself, and he's going to be stopped short of the 1st down. He gambled there and lost. He needed 10. He picked up about 6 or 7, and the Wildcats will have great field position.
Devin Phelps and Anthony Talbert on the stop for the Wildcats. A big, big stop, giving the Wildcats tremendous field position starting this drive at the Cubs' 26-yard line. So it seems the Cubs are determined to dig a hole for themselves as we start this contest.
We're just in the first 5 minutes. The Cubs down 6-0, and the Wildcats have it at the 26-yard line. The quarterback is Haney. Split backs behind him. Here's a handoff again to the fullback up the middle, and he has plenty of running room inside the 20. And I think there's going to be a face mask penalty on top of it as there's a flag on the far sideline.
Brody Crawford grabbed him, sort of bulldogged him, and now they're going to call a face mask penalty. I couldn't see that he had his face mask, but he did have his arm around his helmet as he pulled him down. And so it's going to be even better field position for the Wildcats now with the 1st and 10. Probably inside, no, it's going to be at the Cubs' 12-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 12. So
not a personal foul that time, just a grabbing of the face mask, a 5-yard variety. Wildcats picked up 9 on the carry, and then 5 more with the penalty gives them a 1st down at the Cub 12. And kind of a big stand here early for the Cubs. Their defense needs to slam the door here. Wildcats trying to add to their 6-0 lead.
So far, they haven't been able to stop the Wildcats. Let's see if they can now.
Here's Haney, who keeps it himself. He's hit and driven down near the 10-yard line. He'll pick up a couple of yards, and it'll be 2nd down.
Onis Howard on the stop for the Cubs. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 for the Wildcats.
Ball resting right at the Monett Cub 10-yard line. 6:20 left here, first quarter action. The Wildcats lead it 6-0, and they're looking for more. Haney will work under center. Wide receivers left and right. Here's Haney, gives on misdirection. to River Phelps, who runs right side, driving hard inside the 10, down to about the 7 for a gain of 3.
Number 2, Brody Crawford on the stop. Going to bring up 3rd and 5 for the Wildcats.
Wildcats need to get to just inside the 2, the ball resting on the 7. Play coming in late from the sideline. Wildcats will have to hurry to get this one under as the play clock's under 5. Haney takes the snap, and there's going to be a flag here. I believe one of the Cubs came across the line of scrimmage too quick.
Yes.
And it'll be half the distance to the goal, I believe.
If the play had stood, they had the quarterback for a loss, but it's going to be encroachment against the Cubs. One mistake after another at this point, digging a big, big hole for themselves.
This should be about a 3-yard penalty. Well, they're going to go ahead and mark it off 5. Okay, so it's a 5-yard penalty. It's not half the distance. Yeah, that was a 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down and less than a yard here. A big break for the Wildcats as they're looking to tack on some more. Haney, the quarterback, under center, takes the snap. He gives to his fullback, who walks into the end zone for the touchdown. Kyle Ruark with his 2nd score as he punches it in officially from the 3-yard line. 3-yard run for Kyle Ruark, and the Wildcats lead at 12-zip with the PAT upcoming. River Phelps will tee it up. Out of the hold of Troy Rose. Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it is good. 5:16 left, first quarter action. The Cubs have their work cut out tonight as they trail it 13-0 here in the first quarter. Back after this timeout.
Whether it's Chevy or GM, stop by Automotive at Highways 39 and 60 in Missouri. They've got what you're looking for and a variety of styles and colors to choose from. If it's fuel you see, check out the Chevy Cruze. For more room, see the Malibus or Impalas. They've got trucks, Silverados, Sierra, and Colorados. What about SUV? Covered with Tahoe, Yukon, Equinox, and Terrain. If luxury is what you're after, Buick and Cadillac. And if you want to rev things, see the Camaros or in Aurora, Missouri, junctions of Highway 30. Visit them online at maysautomotive.com.
Back at Burl Fowler, and the folks here on the west sideline a little bit stunned as the Wildcats have come out and scored 2 early touchdowns. The Cassville squad ready to play from the get-go. They lead at 13-0, and Phelps to kick it away for the 3rd time. As he approaches the ball, the kick is in the air. This one a high kick that drifts back into the end zone again. And Phelps is 3 for 3 with these kickoffs, and the Cubs start at the 20.
What a valuable weapon that is, to be able to kick the ball in the end zone. And I didn't know that Cassville used to have an extremely good kicker who did that consistently. I didn't know they had that again, but they do, obviously, in River Phelps. This is a crucial drive, I would say, for the Cubs. They've done nothing but make mistakes up to this point. It's time for them to settle down, execute, and get some momentum back.
They come out in a traditional set with 1 wide receiver left and right. Power I formation, or an offset I, as Alex Turner's in the backfield along with Michael Branch. Motion from left to right as the tight end resets, and here's a handoff to Branch. Up the middle he comes, across the 20 to the 25, and dives out to the 29. The ball came out late, but it was caused by the ground, so that'll be Monett Cub football at the 29.
River Phelps on the stop. You're exactly right. It was the ground that caused the ball to come out, so no fumble on the play. A gain of 9. It'll be 2nd and 1 for the Cubs. That was a good-looking play on the part of the Cubs.
Yeah, and the Cubs need to get back to the basics here as they trail it 13-zip. 2nd down, a little over a yard as the ball in between the 28 and the 29. Swearingen splits wide to the right, and the Cubs will come out in a double tight look, or at least a single tight with Turner in the backfield as well. Back to pass and a flip out here to Turner. He's open at the 30, 35, fumbles the ball, and it looks like Swearingen's able to come up with it at the 40.
Turner did fumble the ball, and it's important that Mason Swearingen was there to recover it. Number 25, Garrett Knight, made the hit for the Wildcats, causing Alex Turner to cough it up. But fortunately for the Cubs, Mason Swearingen was there to maintain possession. 1st and 10 for the Cubs from their own 40.
That could have been catastrophic. 1st and 10 for the Cubs. Meyer turns and gives to Branch. Up the middle he comes across the 40. He spins his way to the 45 and finally brought down there after a gain of about 4 yards.
Number 42 for the Wildcats. That's Stephen Hunter on the tackle. If Michael Branch had not run into one of his own blockers, he would have gained a lot more yardage. I don't know if you noticed that, but as he was starting to break loose, he ran into one of his own blockers that knocked him backwards.
Here's Branch again running right side. He's to the 50 and down he goes. And he'll pick up about 4 more, maybe 5, and it'll be 3rd and a long yard.
Troy Rose on the stop for the Wildcats. It's going to bring up 3rd and a short 2 or a long 1, however you want to look at it for the Cubs.
Cubs have it at their own 49.5, and they need to get to about the Wildcat 49. Many times we see Ian Meyer keeping himself here on a quarterback sneak. We'll see if that's the call here on 3rd and short. Meyer will work under center. Takes the snap, he gives to Swearingen on the end around. He'll have the 1st down and more as he dives down to the 42, but a flag comes out late, and this may be a penalty against the Monett Cubs.
Number 8 for the Wildcats, that's Braden Strahan on the tackle, but we will have to check out the flag.
It's going to be on the Cubs, and it may be a personal foul on the Cubs.
Mistake after mistake after mistake to this point.
And he's been ejected too. The Cubs have had a player ejected. Personal foul against the Cubs after the play is over. So it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. And Leonard, I saw the official with his thumb in the air, so I think there's been an ejection.
Who was the player that did you see anyone come off the
I
field?
did see Jeremiah Anderson come to the sideline. He's over here standing at about the 47.
I see Jeremiah's here. He's their center. Don't know for sure that was the player that's called on, but he is on the sideline instead of on the field.
So it was a gain of 9 for Swearingen, a 1st down for the Cubs, and then it'll cost them 15 yards. So it'll be 1st and 10. Basically, it's just a penalty of yardage. So the Cubs will retain possession. The backup center into the game now for the Cubs is Caleb Hilton. And we'll see if it was an ejection or not, but right now, Hilton into the game at center. Cubs have it at their own 43. Here's a handoff to Howard running left side with running room to midfield and is nudged out of bounds near the 1st down. Good hard run that time by Onis.
Austin McClintock on the tackle for the Wildcats. But you're right, a very hard run by Onis Howard.
Oh, they mark him way back, Leonard. He must have stepped out of bounds.
He must have, because he'd gotten across the 50, about to the 50, and they marked it back at the Cubs' 47-yard line.
He was trying to tiptoe his way down that far sideline. 2nd down and 6. 2:10 left here, 1st quarter action. Cassville on top 13-0. Here's a double reverse that comes to Howard to the 50, and he drives forward for the 1st down, and that was a hard run from Howard, and he'll have the 1st down.
He ran over Wyatt Goad at that point, and you're right. It looked like Michael Branch running over someone, but it was a little Onis Howard. 1st and 10 for the Cubs, their first trip into Wildcat territory tonight at the Wildcat 46.
Branch is the lone tailback. Crawford, however, will get it on the reverse, and he's hitting a backfield, and down he goes as he'll lose about 4 yards, and the Cubs will face second down and long.
Stephen Hunter with the big defensive play for the Wildcats, creating a loss for the Cubs of almost 4 yards. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 14 for the Cubs.
Clock continues to roll here in the first quarter. We're inside 90 seconds left in the period. Second down, we'll say 2nd and 14. As Meyer will work under center, he turns and gives to Branch. Michael running near side, hurdles a couple of tacklers, stays on his feet, and then comes down near the 39. A late flag comes in, and we'll wait for the call here.
35 and 8, that's Braden Strahan and Anthony Talbert on the stop for the Wildcats. Going to be a penalty against the Wildcats this time.
It was a gain of 11 on the carry from Branch, and that was an impressive effort as he hurdled 2 tacklers. And then you'll tack on 5 yards on the grabbing of the face mask, and the Cubs will have their 6th first down, and their drive continues into Wildcat territory down to the 34. Wide receiver split wide to the left is Cody Thompson. Branch is the lone tailback. It'll be Michael running near side. He's to the 30, and again trying to hurdle his way down. Gets to about the 27 for a gain of about 7 yards.
Number 8, Braden Strahan on the stop for the Wildcats. Michael needs to get out of that habit of jumping in the air. He's going to get hurt, if not someone else, by doing that. Occasionally that may be called for, but the last 3 runs he's jumped up in the air when he gets to contact.
Second down and 3. The Cubs with it inside the 30-yard line at the 27. Here's Howard running the ball now, going to the left. He's hit, and down he goes. As he's not able to get back to the line of scrimmage, the Cubs will face third down.
Tremendous tackle there by Wildcat, and I didn't get his number as he got up. He was in a crowd, and I can't tell you who it was, but it certainly was an excellent play for the Wildcats because Howard was about to gain the first, but he came up 3 yards short.
That will be the final play of the first quarter. Our score, Cassville 13, Monett nothing. We'll be back with second quarter action after this timeout.
What are you doing?
Watch those guys work. Talk to get rid of it.
And the other guy?
Oh, that shit. Yeah, dirty trash service. They'll talk trash with you. Don't waste any time getting to work. By the time those and the other, dirty trash, they have the job done.
So why would you call anyone to get rid of your trash?
Good service serving Monett and surrounding for weekly pickups. Call Jim today, 678-13.
Back at Burl Fowler, Benji Finsky alongside Leonard Bauer. And as the clock hits 7:30, I'd like to remind you that you're listening to Monett Cubs football on KKBL 95.9 FM in Monett. This game, 1 of 3, covered by the Talon Sports Network each and every Friday. Of course, you can hear the Cubs right here on 95.9 FM. The Cassville Wildcats can be heard on 97.7 FM, and the Aurora Hound Dogs are on AM 940. Third down and 3 as we enter the second quarter. As some of the Monett Mighty Mites being introduced here between quarters. Meyer will work under center. He'll turn and give to Branch. And Branch is clogged up at the line of scrimmage and goes nowhere. And Monett's going to face a big fourth down play.
Number 39, Gilbert Medina on the stop for the Wildcats. It's been really hard sledding for Michael Branch so far. The Wildcats' defensive front is doing a good job of getting in his way and preventing him from getting to daylight.
Cubs offense stays on the field. 4th down and 3 from the 27. And they call a timeout as they want to talk it over. We'll take one as well. 11.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Cassville on top 13-0. Back after this timeout.
As teenagers, everyone wanted to go Jeepin', and then you became an adult, you forgot about having fun? Come on, Springfield. I know you better than that. it's been a while since you've smiled, come test drive a new Jeep at Youngblood. Right now, prices are at their lowest to get you in a Jeep. The summer clearance event at Youngblood Chrysler Jeep. Come ask for Gentry specials this August.
And Letterman jackets, or for screen printing and embroidery on shirts, caps, uniforms, and more, call 847-5366 or stop by 709 Main Street on the Square in Cassville. Again, that's Sports World in Cassville, Missouri. 4th down and 3. The Cubs down to 1 timeout left here in the first half as they come back out onto the field. They'll come out with 2 wing backs, Crawford and also Howard. The tailback is Michael Branch, and before we can get the playoff, the Wildcats want to talk it over. We're going to go ahead and keep it here and remind you that this game brought to you in part by Quick Draw Gun in Monett, the place to buy, sell, or trade firearms of all types. Quick Draw Gun right off Highway 60 in Monett at 601 South Tyler, or you can visit them online at quickdrawgun.com.
Benji, it dawns on me that the officials have not given the players a water break or a hydration break, and if they ever needed it, tonight's the night. However, these 2 timeouts here is giving them a chance to get some water, and so that, may have entered into it. But tonight is the night where the players need some chance to get some water down them.
Yeah, at kickoff, temperature was in the mid-80s, and I'll check and see where we are right now. Down to 82 here in Monett, with the wind out of the southeast at 3 miles an hour. So breeze all but died here as the sun is set. 4th down and 3 now for the Cubs as we return to action. Cassville will come out with 4 down linemen now on 4th down. Back to pass is the quarterback, but a flag comes out. That'll stop the play. It's a dead ball infraction, so it'll probably go against the Cubs. We'll see. We'll wait for the call from the referee. Illegal procedure. False start against the Monett Cubs.
Mistake after mistake after mistake has been the story so far for the Cubs.
Yeah, and they'll go from 4th and 3 to 4th and 8. As the Cubs need to get down to about the 24. They have it near their own 32. So the Cubs will come out now with 3 wide receivers wide left, 2 to the far side. Ian Meyer will work out of the shotgun. Play being sent in from the sideline. Meyer takes the snap. He looks left with time. Still with it, fires deep left side, has a man, Crawford, touchdown! Monett Cubs! Crawford from 32 yards out. And the Cubs are back in this one. It's 13-6.
If they ever needed something like that, they needed it then. So big break, but they created the break by good execution by the Cubs. Beautiful pass by Ian Meyer. And a fine catch by Brody Crawford.
Cameron Cody on to attempt the PAT. Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough. And it is good. All Monett touchdowns brought to you by the law offices of Randall, Mastery, and Randall. If you need an extra pointer or two from a trusted lawyer, call Randall, Mastery, and Randall at 235-8688, serving the Lawrence, Berry, and Stone County regions. The upcoming kickoff, sponsored by Home Shield Pest Control. With over 20 years of industry experience, Home Shield Pest Control can tackle any unwanted insect or pest with an affordable, safe, and effective method. Be sure to call Daniel Vineyard today at 772-4177. Boy, that is a huge play on 4th and 8. Crawford hauling in a 32-yard touchdown, and that gives Monett some life.
Yes, indeed. That I said when they started that drive, it was just almost crucial, and they managed to make it successful and pull out a score. And I just have a feeling the tone of the play may change a little bit after that.
But what's troubling thus far, Leonard, the Cubs have yet to stop the Wildcats.
You're right. They haven't even come close to stopping the Wildcats, but I'm thinking that this momentum may inspire their defense to play a little tougher.
Ball teed up at the 40 as Cameron Cody will kick it away. Kickoff is a high end-over-end kick that is fielded and then dropped at the 1. The return to the 5. Coverage for the Cubs. Pin the Wildcats inside the 10. Well, there's a start.
That's a good start. I can't see the kid's number. Number 86 for the Cubs. That's Zach Blevins on the stop. That was a big mistake by the Wildcats. If they had let the ball go, it would have gone in the end zone and been a touchback. As it is, instead of starting at their 20, they're starting just outside their own 8-yard line.
So the Cub defense with an opportunity here to get a stop. The Wildcats will come out with a split backfield. The ball fumbled on the snap. The quarterback went to his knees to pick it up. And as he did so, the play is whistled down. No gain on the play. Maybe a gain of a half a yard. It'll be second down and long.
I couldn't see what happened. I was looking at the Monett defensive alignment and just saw the scramble there for it.
Just dropped the snap.
Just dropped the snap.
Haney dropped the snap, picked it up, but as he did so, he was on his right knee, and the play whistled dead there. Second down and 10 from the 8. As the Wildcats come out with a receiver wide right and left. Haney, the sophomore quarterback, will work under center. Movement along the front as a flag comes out. This may go against the Wildcats.
It should, if they get it correct, yes.
Okay, now, Leonard, earlier it was not half the distance to the goal line. We'll see if this is. If you remember when the Cubs were penalized.
Yeah, this will be half the distance.
Yeah, this is on the offense, so it should be down to about the 4-yard line. They're actually going to move it only 2 yards, Leonard.
Yes.
They move it to the 6. It should be down to the 4. I don't
either. I don't understand that at all. I don't think they understand it either. I think they're going to look at that.
I think that ball needs to be moved back to about the 4-yard line, Leonard. There it is. Okay. It's been an adventure.
Yes.
Let's just say that.
Yes. Okay, Cubs have tremendous field position here. 2nd and 13 for the Wildcats. Need to hold them here deep in their territory.
From just inside the 5, we'll call it the 4-yard line. Here's a handoff to Phelps running near side across the 10. He steps out of bounds at about the 12.5. A good run there from Phelps as he gives the Wildcats some breathing room.
Yes, it was. He got to the corner. Not many teams get to the corner on the Cubs because of their speed, but Phelps got there and went down the sideline for a good gain. It's going to leave 3rd, though, and about 6 for the Wildcats.
As Cassville needs to get out near the 9, they have it at their own 13. Cassville with 2 receivers, 1 to each side. Shannon Haney, the quarterback, takes the snap, pitches to Phelps, running left, breaks 1 tackle. He'll have the first down and more. Down the sideline he goes, across the 30, across the 35. And the Wildcats, just like that, are in good field position.
Finally knocked out of bounds by Brennan Kruger. But again, that's poor execution on the part of the Cubs. They shouldn't let him get to the sideline like that. He had a blocker out there doing a good job, but the Cubs are not covering the way they ought to and the way we're accustomed to seeing them. But a big gain for the Wildcats gets them out of a big hole. 1st and 10 now from their own 34-yard line.
That's a gain of 20 yards for Phelps, who has 31 yards on just 3 carries. Shannon Haney at quarterback takes the snap. He gives up the middle to Ruark, and again, Ruark with lots of room up the middle he goes as he'll pick up about 8 or 9 yards on first down.
Onis Howard and Mason Swearingen on the stop. I bet Michael Branch is thinking, I wish I had holes like that to run through.
Yeah. Gain of 9 for Ruark, and he's over 100 yards already. And, you know, the Cubs are missing the big guy in the middle, Angel.
Yes. games like this, Angel really would come, be important, and he's not there. Hopefully he'll get back soon.
Second down. Haney back to pass. He's hit in the backfield, and down he goes. The Cubs get to him for the first time as the Wildcats were trying to hit something big on second and short. It'll be a sack and a loss, bringing up third down and about 2.
A number of Cubs in on that stop, but Michael Branch and Tyler Alcock, most outstanding of the group.
Ball at the Wildcat 43-yard line. Well, we'll call it the 42. They need to get a couple of yards for a first down. Haney under center turns and gives to Phelps. Up the middle he goes. And this should be enough for the Wildcats to pick up the first down. They needed a couple, and it looks like he picked up about 3.
Onis Howard and Brennan Kruger on the stop, and you're right, he does barely have enough for the 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. So the drive continues with the ball now at the Wildcat 45-yard line.
Cubs need some big plays on first down on that defensive side of the ball to put the Wildcats in some long yardage situations. 1st and 10 for Cassville at their own 45. They come out with receivers wide left and right. Now the tight end resets to the near side. Handoff up the middle to Phelps, and he's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Brennan Kruger on the stop for the Cubs. No gain is right. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Well, remember the Cubs had them in deep, bad situation, 3rd and 13 deep in their territory, and let them out. So, that was a good first down. Now we need to continue that.
Wide receiver comes to the near sideline. One to the far side as well. As Haney looks over the defense, he sets the offensive line. Here's a handoff to Ruark, running left side. He's hit by Turner and gang tackled after a gain of just a yard or 2.
Alex Turner with a sure tackle there for the stop, limiting the gain to about 2 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 8 for the Wildcats.
So a big play here for the Wildcats offense. The Cubs defense trying to stop Cassville for the first time here in the first half. Ball resting on the left hash mark. 3rd down and 8. Wide receiver wide left. One to the near sideline as well is Perriman. Haney under center. Takes the snap, and he'll run the option and is hit at midfield, and down he goes after a gain of about 3.
Onis Howard on the stop for the Cubs. Going to bring up 4th down and about a short 5 or a long 5 rather, or a short 6. And it looks like River Phelps is going into punt formation, but remember River Phelps can run the ball as well as punt it.
Brian Parra Navarro back deep for the Cubs. And you're right, you got to keep an eye on Phelps. He stands at his own 38. Snap back is a good one, and Phelps kicks it away. It's a high tumbling kick to the near sideline. It takes a Wildcat bounce inside the 20, inside the 15, down inside the 10 to the 9. What a good kick there from River Phelps.
It didn't look good when it left his foot, and it looked like it was going to go out of bounds. But when it hit, instead of going out of bounds, it bounced downfield for about a dozen yards. So it turned out to be very effective.
41-yard punt with no return, and the Cubs have their backs to the goal line. 1st and 10 from their own 9. 6:13 left here in the second quarter. Cassville on top 13-7. They race to an early 13-0 lead, now lead at 13-7. Ian Meyer, 6'2", 190-pound senior quarterback, turns and gives to Branch, who's hit in the backfield. He's able to struggle forward out to about the 11. He'll pick up 1, maybe 2, and it's 2nd down.
Number 39 for the Wildcats was the main tackler on that play. That's Gilbert Medina. And once again, Michael Branch, the line is creating no hole for him whatsoever. He's hitting a brick wall when he gets to the line of scrimmage. I'd have to say the Cassville defensive line is whipping the Monett offensive line at this point.
Meyer is working under center. He'll take the snap. He'll give to Swearingen near side to the 15. He dives to the 20. And that should be enough for a Cub first down.
Number 39, Gilbert Medina, tripped him up, but Zach Swearingen, that's his brother, Mason Swearingen, was running low and hard and fell forward just enough for the 1st and 10 for the Cubs, with the ball now resting at their own 20.
Leonard, you're working so hard on the Onus Howard that you slip back with Zach.
I've always had a trouble calling brothers by their brothers' names.
1st and 10 for the Cubs from the 20. As Meyer takes the snap, and the ball on the ground as there was a mix-up in the backfield. I believe the Cubs have recovered it. Meyer might have got back in there and got it himself. There'll be a loss on the play, bringing up 2nd down and long.
That was a complicated play with a fake and then a quick handoff, and they just didn't quite get it executed. The ball went on the ground. Going to bring up 2nd and 12 for the Cubs.
Meyer will work out of the shotgun as he has 5 receivers out in this pattern. From the 18. Meyer back to pass, pump fake. Now flush from the pocket, throws across the middle, has his man for a first down across the 30. That's Anderson all the way out to the 33.
Number 25, that's Garrett Knight on the stop for the Wildcats. Very nice play, good play by the Cubs. Moving the ball out for 1st and 10 now from their own 33.
Jed Anderson with a nice catch and run. Here's a handoff to Branch. Has a lot of room, first down, and stood up there out to the 45. And that should be a gain of 12. We'll call it a gain of 11 and a first down.
River Phelps on the stop for the Wildcats. But a significant gain for the Cubs. Good for another 1st and 10 at their own 45. They've got momentum going now. Need to keep it going with 4 minutes left in the half.
Here's Branch again running right. He's to midfield, runs over a tackler and dives down for another first down.
Number 8, Braden Strahan got the honor of being run over by Michael Branch at that point, but it did bring Michael down, so it was effective.
Gain of 10 and a half. It'll be a first down for the Cubs. They're 11th here in the first half. They want to go hurry up here as they've got the momentum. Meyer takes the snap, gives to Onus Howard, and this time the Wildcat defense all over the tailback. Will be a loss of a yard.
There was nowhere to go as number 40, Zach Burton, met him head on. Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11 for the Cubs. I'm not sure there wasn't a loss of a little more than that. But
forward progress gets him to about the 45. Cubs slow it down just a little bit here as Swearingen comes in from the sideline. Para Navarro wide to the left. Swearingen in motion. It'll be Swearingen running the ball. He cuts it up and dives down to the Wildcat 40. That'll be a gain of 6 yards and will bring up 3rd down.
Kyle Ruark with a tackle there that could have prevented a long gain by Mason Swearingen. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 6, a long 6 for the Cubs.
Wide receiver comes to the near sideline, Para Navarro. Tailback is Howard. And it'll be Onus running to the right side. He's to the 40. He's hit there and down he goes after a gain of about a yard. And the Cubs will face 4th down.
Number 8, Braden Strahan and Kyle Ruark on the stop for the Wildcats. Cubs are having trouble outrunning the Wildcats to the perimeter. Wildcats have good speed outside.
4th down and 5 for the Cubs. As the quarterback Meyer looks to the sideline, he wants a play, and the coaches go ahead and call a timeout here on 4th down. We'll just keep it right here and remind you that you're listening to Monett Cubs football on KKBL 95.9 FM in Monett. And just also want to remind you that during selected games this season, KKBL and the Talon Sports Network sponsor some really nice giveaways, and tonight is one of those nights. You'll need to stay tuned to hear the special catchphrase and then call in to claim a prize, and this prize a very nice prize. So stay tuned tonight. No texting, Leonard. People will be able to call tonight.
Oh, good.
So
old timers like me could get in on it.
That's
tonight.
right. You know, so later in tonight's contest, maybe at the halftime show, we'll give away a very nice prize to one of our lucky listeners. The Cubs face 4th down and 5. And boy, what a momentum boost this could be for Monett if they could finish this drive off. Trailing 13-7, if they can knot the score, maybe take a lead before halftime, boy, I tell you, that would be huge for the Monett Cubs.
You're exactly right. 4th and 6 about for the Cubs. Let's see what play Coach Ewell pulled out of the bag for this one.
From the 39-yard line, Meyer will work out of the shotgun, back to pass, looking left, scrambling left, throws late, has Crawford who makes the catch at the 20. First down, Cubs.
Number 23, River Phelps, delivered a tremendous blow to Brody Crawford, and most receivers would have coughed up the ball. But Brody did a tremendous job of holding on to it, and he's coming to the sideline now. I'm sure he probably got the breath knocked out of a little bit because River Phelps really hit him, but great play by Brody Crawford and great play by Ian Meyer to find him.
Meyer will work under center on 1st and 10. He turns and gives to Branch running right side. He breaks a tackle, still on his feet as he gets inside the 20. The ball came loose, the Wildcats say, and I believe Cassville has come away with a fumble.
I believe that is the signal. Michael coughed it up and Cassville recovered. I couldn't see the number of the Cassville player that got it. It looks like maybe number 42, Stephen Hunter. But at any rate, it's a turnover by the Cubs, and the Wildcats get the ball with 1 minute and 38 seconds left in the first half, stalling that very promising drive by the Cubs.
Cubs took over at their own 9-yard line. They marched it all the way inside the 20. But after the turnover, they give it back to the Wildcats. Cassville with 2 timeouts left, 1:38 on the clock. Quarterback is Haney. He'll turn and give to Phelps. Up the middle he comes as he tiptoes his way to about the 20-yard line. He'll pick up 2, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Number 12, Ian Meyer on the stop for the Cubs that time. Ian's in at a defensive back right now. 2nd and about 7 for the Wildcats.
Ball resting right at the 20, and the clock rolling inside 1:10 left before halftime.
It appears the Wildcats may be content to go into halftime with their 6-point lead.
Haney works under center. He turns and gives on a dive play. I believe that's Phelps again. And Phelps met at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down.
At least 5 different Cubs were in on that tackle, so I won't single out anyone. It's going to bring up 3rd. And at this point, the Cubs don't have a timeout.
That's right.
Be nice if they had 2 timeouts left, but they've already burned them, so they can't stop the clock.
3rd down and 8, and the Wildcats in no hurry here as they're just milking the play clock. They may just let it go down to a second or 2 and call a timeout. Instead, they go ahead and break huddle. And Haney will work under center, but he'll let that clock run as much as he can. Takes the snap. He'll pitch near side to Phelps. Phelps to the 20, makes one man miss, still on his feet to the 30. He's got running room now as he gets to the 35 before he is finally tackled at the 36.
That was a scary situation for the Cubs. Phelps bounced off at least 4 or 5 Cubs and had picked up the 1st and 10, was in danger of breaking into the open, but finally brought down. Now the Wildcats will. No, they didn't get the timeout before the half, did they?
So they did not. So we have reached intermission here at Burl Fowler. Our score at halftime, the visiting Cassville Wildcats 13, the Monett Cubs 7. When we return, Leonard and I will take a look at the first half scoring summary and check out first half stats. But first this time out, as we hear from some of our outstanding sponsors, back with our halftime show after this timeout.
As teenagers, everyone wanted to go jeeping, and then you became an adult, you forgot about having fun? Come on, Springfield. I know you better than that. been a while since you've smiled. Come test drive a new Jeep at Youngblood. Right now, prices are at their lowest to get you in a Jeep. The summer clearance event at Youngblood Chrysler Jeep. Come ask for Gentry specials this August.
When buying a car, what's most important to you? Price, selection, service? How about a stress-free buying experience? At Jimmy Mitchell Motors, you can have it all. At Jimmy Mitchell Motors, every vehicle comes with our commitment to total customer satisfaction. Plus, you always get top dollar for your trade. With hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot, now's the time to choose the one that's perfect for you. Visit us online or come see us in downtown Aurora today, and you'll see why we say,
Nobody beats our deal.
Your real estate agent of choice. Our customers, we offer great service, knowledge, and skill, 20 years of experience, and what it takes to get your property sold, not just listed. If you're serious about selling, give us a call at Next Properties in Monett at 52200. We're located between McDonald's and Walmart on Highway 60. See you soon.
Hi, Roger here from Race. We're big stores, a lot of stuff. At Race Brothers, with stuff they do to talk about. We have the largest truck toolboxes in southwest Missouri. Supplies, dog food, cat food, dishes, collars, leashes, and grooming and care products. For the kids, we have brake totes, steel flyer wagon, pedal tractor, collectibles like Schlage, Briar, Hurdle. Out to Race Brothers, Springfield, Chargers, and don't like the way we do business. Come to Spring. Barclay Footwear and Central Sheet Metal has been doing business in the Lawrence County area at their office in Fort Missouri for over 60 years. Wow, that's a lot.
Hey, what are you doing today? I'm Darren from the Bayou Restaurant, and we are live on Web TV. We got all your favorite high school football games, so come join us. You got this, you got lots of fun and food. We're at 864 Highway 60, 235-7800. Web TV's alive and well in Monett, Missouri, and
Great season. Park Hardware and Central Sheet Metal, 23 Street, Aurora. Go by or call 783839.
Home Shield Pest Control wants you to know that if your home could talk, it may tell you it's feeling well due to uninvited visitors like ants, wasps, spiders, roaches, rodents, and other pests lurking around your home or business. With over 20 industry pest control can remove those uninvited insects and affect Home Shield Pest Control. Call Daniel today at 772-4177. That's 7177.
Just a reminder that you're listening to Monett Cub football on 95.9 FM KKBL in Monett, Missouri. We're at halftime here at Burl Fowler. Monett trailing Cassville 13-7. And with a look at the first half scoring summary, here is my broadcast partner, Leonard Bauer.
Thank you, Benji. Well, this game started out in a shocking way for the Cubs. The Cubs received the opening kickoff, picked up a couple of first downs, I think, and then their drive stalled by missing a couple of passes where the receiver was open but connections were missed, or either the receiver dropped the ball. So the Cubs were forced to punt. A very effective punt by Onis Howard rolled dead at the Cassville 17-yard line, and it looked like the Cubs were in very favorable position to hold the Wildcats. But on the very first play from scrimmage, Kyle Ruark broke free on a 83-yard run up the middle. He burst by the line and the linebackers, and the Monett secondary was not able to catch up with him, so he went 83 yards for a touchdown. This time the kick was wide right, so Cassville led 6-0 with 8:15 left in the first quarter. Exactly 3 minutes, or almost exactly 3 minutes later, the Wildcats found the end zone again. This drive was set up by the Cubs not punting the ball on fourth down. Punter Onis Howard decided he could run for the first down, and he was incorrect. He didn't make it, turning the ball over to the Wildcats at about the Cubs' 27-yard line. And from there, the Wildcats punched it into the end zone. Again, Kyle Ruark scoring this time on a 3-yard run. This time, River Phelps kicked the conversion, putting the Wildcats up 13-0, and surprisingly, that was the score at the end of the first quarter. Shortly into the second quarter, the Cubs finally got on the scoreboard. With 4th and 8 from the Cassville 32-yard line, quarterback Ian Meyer found Brody Crawford open in the Cassville end zone and hit him with a well-thrown pass. Crawford caught the ball for a 32-yard touchdown reception, and then Cameron Cody kicked the conversion, making the score Monett 7 and Cassville 13. And after that, for the rest of the second quarter, both teams moved the ball some. Monett had a promising drive with about 2 minutes gone and got down to about the Cassville 20 or 25, coughed up the ball on a fumble. Cassville took over the possession and ran out the clock. So score at halftime, Cassville 13, Monett 7.
Thank you, Leonard. The Cubs trail by 6 here at intermission. The Monett High School marching band on the field here at halftime at Burrow Fowler. We'll slip away, and when we come back, I'll be joined by Jeff Ogle, and Jeff and I will look at first half stats and set action up for quarter number 3 from Burrow Fowler Stadium. Back after this timeout.
Monett Cub football.
I'm Benji Finsky.
I'm Leonard Bauer.
And I'm Daisy Kayes. We're the team that covers the Monett Cubs football team every Friday.
You can listen to us on the radio that we've been doing for decades.
Or you can catch us online, live, at MonettWebTV.com for video and streaming audio.
If you can't see the games from the air, we always archive them on our website.
Be sure to catch every Monett game, including playoffs, this fall.
Right here at KKBL 95.9. Your home for all things Monett Cubs.
Tax Shelter Insurance Agent Scott Asher in Monett.
You can trust Ken's Collision Center in Bill 417-847-12. Hear what Lee White, one of Ken's 5 customers, has to say.
I've been with Ken for probably 10, 12 years. When you take the vehicles down there, they'll usually the insurers and find out what they want to do. Quickly they need their vehicle back. Everything down there does it quickly, fairly. My insurance adjusters, they love them. Good guys.
Ken's Collision Center. Quality and integrity are our tool. 712 West Kent.
Why is steel the world's #1 and a chainsaw not sold at the Home Depot? Reliable, on-site service is one reason, but there are 1,000 other reasons. Each one is independent steel dealer. Expert advice on steel products when you need it. Each steel product sold is fully ready for a steel.
You see Leonard and the gang at Coast to Coast. South Schuyler in Monett, your source for steel.
Back at Burrow Fowler Stadium, Benji Finsky joined at halftime by Jeff Ogle. Jeff, your impressions of the first half?
Cassville came out of the gate. I mean, they came out and set the tone very early with that long run to begin the first quarter. It really surprised me. And Monett was kind of on their heels, after that. And then Monett kind of, Ian made a little magic back there in the backfield and got away from a couple of sackers and threw it to Brody down there in the end zone, got us a touchdown to make it a closer game. And we were driving the ball there right before half and a costly turnover again.
Yeah, I thought the Cubs came out kind of cavalier in the first few minutes. They weren't as intense, and the Wildcats definitely were. And as you said, that 83-yarder to start the game kind of shook everyone up a little bit. Ruark leading the way for the Wildcats, and he's kind of a forgotten back for Cassville. But in that first half, Cassville ran it 17 times for 162 yards. Almost 10 yards a pop there. Of course, an 83-yarder will help in that matter. They didn't even throw the ball. The Wildcats had no passing yards. They finished with 6 first downs and punted the ball one time for a 41-yard average. Monett, conversely, 28 carries for just 123. Meyer was 4 of 8 passing for 77, so here's kind of a misleading stat. Monett, 200 yards of offense, Cassville 162, but Cassville on top by a touchdown.
Yeah, that is crazy. And the one time that Cassville did go back to pass, Mikey got back there and sacked the quarterback. So I think Cassville's always been that ground and pound type of team, whereas Monett in years past, like I know my senior year, we were a very fast team. We threw the ball, we ran the ball very well. This year, they're running the ball well, but Ian has some games where he throws exceptionally well, and then he has other games where it seems like he's kind of conservative. And before the game tonight, when they were walking out, he took a knee out here behind the fence, and he was there for probably 5 or 10 minutes, and the team ran through the tunnel, and he was just standing back there, and nobody really knew what was up. And I didn't know if it was, I know a big game, everybody hypes up the Berry County Brawl because of years past and some of the things that have happened in the history here, but other than that, it's a big game, but you can't let your nerves get to you like that. And I thought a few of his first few passes were just off the mark, just little pregame jitters that he seemed to settle down and play very exceptionally well the rest of the first half.
Yeah, he hit his last 3 passes and a couple of big plays in that as well. Individually speaking, for the Cassville Wildcats, they were led by Kyle Ruark, who had 5 carries for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. River Phelps, 8 carries for 52 yards. Shannon Haney had 4 carries for just 4 yards. For the Monett Cubs, they're led on the ground by Michael Branch, 14 carries, 71 yards. Onis Howard had 6 carries for 17 yards. Mason Swearingen, good to see him running the ball hard tonight, 3 carries for 23 yards. Ian Meyer, 3 carries for 8 yards, and Brian Parra-Navarro had a carry for 8 yards as well. Meyer, 4 of 8 passing with a touchdown, as he hit Brody Crawford from 32 yards out. Brody with 2 catches and 50 yards in the first half. Alex Turner, 1 catch for 12, and Jed Anderson, 1 for 15. So 13-7 here at halftime. Cassville, however, outgained by the Cubs 200 to 162, and the Cubs actually doubling the Wildcats in first downs, 12-6. But the stat that matters the most right now is that score on the board.
Yeah, they're right before halftime, about 7 minutes left in the game. When Monett went to that really spread offense, the offensive linemen have really big splits, and they have the 5 wide receivers out. And Ian's just back there, and, coaches is giving him the plays on the sidelines and stuff. And it seemed that when they done that and they spread that out, the big boys in the middle for Cassville, when Mikey would get to the hole, it was there, and he was just running right on through him and getting about 10 yards a pop there for a while, and then it kind of stalled. But Mikey has been running the ball.
What happens when snacks meet the DQ oven? You get bacon loaded, oven melty, queso.
To see, but we're gonna have to generate a good long drive to run some of the clock out, get a touchdown. But most importantly, the first thing we're gonna have to do is stop Cassville's offense right now. They're just running like a well-oiled machine right now.
They really are, and they get the ball first as we'll start the second half. Cassville won the opening toss, deferred to the second half, so they will receive the ball to start the third quarter. And the Cubs defense, who've held the Wildcats one time here in the first half, need to get a stop early, because that first score in the second half is going to be monumental. It might go a long way to winning the game.
Right. I remember my senior year, we started off the game with a kickoff return, and that kind of set the tone for the game. When you have a big play, your first play of the game, whether it's a kickoff return or your first play of offense, or you get a turnover on defense, that sets the tone, and you're like, all right, I'm ready to play, let's go. And now Monett needs to come out and let's stop them on D, and let's get a good turnover so we can go and win this ball game.
That's Jeff Ogle. I'm Benji Finsky. We're at halftime here at Burrow Fowler. Cassville leads 13-7. When we return, Leonard and I will be bringing you third quarter action live right from Burrow Fowler Field. We'll be back after this timeout.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. We're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights, when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul.
Other than that, they didn't really move the ball very much, and Monett had a couple of drives where they moved the ball and with nothing to show for it at the end of it. Again, Cubs made vastly too many mistakes to win a football game. Too many penalties, broken assignments, missed receivers, and then the one player that was expelled from the game. They're already short some players anyway, and they really didn't need that. So in spite of all of that, I think the game is still in the Cubs' hands if they want to take it. I think they can throw the ball against the Wildcats pretty much at will. They've shown that in this first half. But the defense is going to have to stop the burst up the middle from Ruark and then stop Phelps from getting to the outside.
Yeah, Phelps just ran the ball 8 times in the first half, so, you know, he's not been overworked. Ruark carried it just 6. And I was talking to the Cassville announcers briefly at halftime, and their color guy said that's the longest run that Ruark's ever had in his life.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he said that, you know, it's an impressive way to start the game. Ruark scoring from 83 yards, and the Wildcats were on top. But, you know, it comes down to the play here in the third quarter, reestablishing yourself, and the Cubs get a chance to do it with their defense first. They really need to stifle the Wildcats, get the ball back to their offense, and get something going. They're definitely in the game 13-7 as they scored on a 4th down play on that one drive, and they're going to need some more magic as they go along here in the second half.
And the missed extra point by Cassville might prove to be vital before this game is over, because now if the Cubs score 1 touchdown and kick a conversion, they'll have the lead if they can hold it the way it is. So that could be very important. But with most games, the beginning of the second half, the first drive in the third quarter, last week, Monett took the kickoff from Aurora and went down the field and scored, established the momentum and held the game in check. Tonight they have to kick off to Cassville. I think it'll be important that they prevent Cassville from going down the field and scoring. Maybe let them, if they get a first down or 2, that could be tolerated. But hopefully not let them have a sustained drive and get a touchdown at the end of it.
Well, we're ready for second half action here. What will unfold in these third and fourth quarters? We'll bring it your way here on KKBL. Cody to kick it away. A high end-over-end kick that comes down at the 1. It takes a sideways bounce, picked up. Now the Phelps to the 5. He's to the 10, trying to get to the outside. Does so to the 15, to the 20. Still on his feet. And a great return from River Phelps as he takes it out to about the 31, a return of about 27 yards.
Finally, Mason Swearingen made the tackle there. That was some ridiculous defensive play on the part of the Cubs. Phelps should have been tackled at about his 4-yard line, ran across the field, going through tacklers right and left, and finally got out to the 31-yard line almost, and that was very poor coverage on the part of the Cubs. That's all I can say.
Yeah, they had him all but pinned in, but he was able to make something out of nothing. The Wildcats have it from their 31. Shannon Haney, a 5'9", 160-pound sophomore quarterback, resets his front. Takes the snap, gives up the middle to Ruark, and Ruark with running room, he'll have a first down across the 40.
Finally brought down there by Mason Swearingen again, and he almost broke free for another touchdown. I have to point out that number 21 for the Cubs, Patrick Valentine, is not active tonight, not playing, and they're really missing him in the center of that defense.
You're right. We mentioned Angel being out as the nose guard.
Right.
And Valentine, one of the leading tacklers for the Cubs, out tonight as well. 1st and 10, Wildcats from their 43. Here's a counter play to Phelps to the 45. He'll struggle forward to about the 46, a gain of 3, and it'll be 2nd and 7.
Number Brennan Kruger, I guess, on the stop. I couldn't see his number for a minute, but Brennan Kruger on the stop for the Cubs. After a gain of about 3, it's going to be 2nd and about 7 for the Wildcats.
Ball resting just beyond the 45. Just underway here in the 3rd quarter. Cassville with the ball and the lead as they led 13-7 at halftime. Tight end resets to the left. Handoff up the middle.
And
Ruark,
he's going for a touchdown.
and he may go the distance. He's to the 30, to the 20, and finally drug down near the 10-yard line. A quick hitter again, and that'll go for big yardage.
Looked like he was going to go all the way, but Brian Pyro Navarro caught up with him. There's just nobody there in the middle of the Cubs line. I could run through there with the holes that they're creating. 1st and goal for the Wildcats now at the, looks like about the 9-yard line.
It's a gain of 45 yards, and they'll put him down at the 9. 1st and goal, Wildcats. As Haney working under center, he'll take the snap and give up the middle again. It's to Ruark, and this time Kyle has stood up after a short gain. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Aiden Brown with some assistance from Ian Meyer on the stop, but a gain nevertheless, well.
Gain of about a yard. They put him down at the 8, so gain of 1, we'll say.
Okay, that extra line there is confusing me. I thought, is that the 10?
Yeah.
No, that's the 8,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the soccer.
It's the soccer line.
Yeah, penalty box. 2nd down for the Wildcats. Haney will pitch it near side Phelps. Phelps stringing it out to the 10 and run out of bounds near the 9. And it'll be 3rd and goal.
Mason Swearingen did a good job of stalking Phelps there and not letting him cut back, forcing him out of bounds at the 9. It's going to be 3rd and goal for the Wildcats from the 9.
Loss of a yard. Big stand here for the Cubs if they can pull it off. Wildcats trying to increase a 6-point lead. Play clock approaches 10 seconds as the Wildcats break huddle. They have a new back in there as Ruark is out. Phelps is one of the tailbacks, and it'll be Phelps up the middle. He goes to the 5.
And he scored.
No, he's short, Leonard, as he dives down to about the 1. He needed 9. He picks up 8, and it'll be 4th and goal.
He got more yardage than he should have gotten, I know. Onis Howard comes up limping after that play.
Stop in action here, official timeout. As Howard loses a shoe, actually. So
maybe that's why he was limping, but it looked like he was limping, but he is replacing his shoe.
Well, Leonard, here's a big play, obviously. 4th and goal from about the half-yard line. And Cassville with 2 big old backs back there, 2 good backs, Phelps, and we'll see if Ruark's back in here on 4th down.
I'd say the odds of them scoring here is 99-1, the 99 that they will score.
Actually, Ruark is out, but Phelps is in. Quarterback takes the snap. Quarterback keeper up the middle he goes. We wait for the call.
They're not signaling touchdown.
They're not signaling a touchdown.
I believe the ball goes over to the Cubs.
No, I think now they signal touchdown. Boy, that's a late call. Is it a touchdown? Touchdown, Wildcats. It took forever.
I don't understand why it took 20 seconds to signal a touchdown, but that it looked like a touchdown, but then they didn't signal it, so I thought, well, it didn't make it. But then after, a good 15 seconds, they finally signaled touchdown.
So the quarterback, Haney, scores from 1 yard out with a PAT upcoming from Phelps. Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it is good. 8:44 left, third quarter action. Cassville increases their lead. It's now 20-7. We'll be back with more action after this timeout.
Hey, Dad, what do you call a bull? A bulldozer.
That's funny stuff. I'm just glad Puffmaster Insurance aren't sleeping on the job. Let me evaluate my insurance needs for each exposure I have and gave me some options that were available before. And they helped us find a rate without compromising our coverage. They package all our insurance so we don't have any coverage.
Dad, that's grown-up stuff. What does that mean?
It means that now I'm able to sleep at night. Protect.
Puffmaster Insurance. Straight in Monett. Call 25355.
This is David from Monett Rental, and you're listening to the Cup Sports on 95. The Buzz.
Back at Burrow Fowler, this upcoming kickoff brought to you by Home Shield Pest Control. With over 20 years of industry experience, Home Shield can tackle any unwanted insect or pest with an affordable, safe, and effective method. Be sure to call Daniel Vineyard today at 772-4177. Phelps to kick it away after the Wildcat touchdown. Kick in the air, high end over end, that is returnable. Crawford gets it at the 7, hands it off, a double reverse to the near sideline to Brian Parra Navarro, and he's able to get out near the 25, and that's where the Cubs will have it 1st and 10. There's an injured Wildcat down on the return. Greg Hunter on the field. And an official timeout. We'll take one as well. We'll be back with more third quarter action after this timeout.
This live broadcast of high school on the Talon Sports Network is brought to you in part by Sportscaster Club members. The Berry County Department, whether you need your well water tested or without flu shots, check with the Berry County Health Department with offices in Monett and Cassville. Cassville office at 847-21 or the Monett office at 354-402 for more information. To Southern Missouri with locations in Cass, Blakeman, Willard, Shellknob, and Golden to serve. Visit them online at freedombk. Member FDIC, equal housing. When your belly is raging for something tasty, maybe a hand-cut steak or some great Italian spaghetti and meatballs, head on over to the Byway 60 in Monett. And Phil Davidson, State in Mount Vernon. For life, auto, or health, Phil Davidson, 466-51.
Back at Burrow Fowler, Hunter able to walk off the field under his own power, so that's always good to see. And as we resume action, there's 8:36 left here in the third quarter. Cassville leads at 20-7. And the Cubs will have it at their own 25-yard line as they break huddle. The wide receiver comes wide to the left. Hunter finally to the sideline, so we're just about ready for action.
Benji, the Wildcats did just what they needed to do. They took the ball, went right down the field, and scored. It's going to be hard for the Cubs to get the momentum back.
Here's Michael Branch off right tackle. He dives forward across the 25 to about the 27. A gain of a couple will bring up 2nd down and 8.
Austin McClintock on the stop for the Wildcats. And once again, Michael Branch just doesn't have any room to run. Their line is just whipping our line unmercifully, to be honest.
Defensively, guys up front for them include Stephen Hunter, Devin Phelps, Jesus Perez, and Zach Burton. Those guys have been really tough tonight. Here's a handoff to Crawford running near side. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, falls forward to about the 29. A gain of 2 more, and it's 3rd down and 6.
Gilbert Medina on the stop for the Wildcats. It looked like Swearingen was going to have some. Was it Swearingen that ran?
It was Crawford.
Crawford was going to have room to run, but they closed it down quickly. Cassville's defense looks awfully good tonight.
3rd down and 6 for the Cubs. from their own 29. Back to pass is Meyer, running to the right, still with it. Tucks it under, and he'll have the first down to the 35 to the 40. Now a flag comes out late, and we might have a hold that goes against Michael Branch and the Cubs.
If we do, that's just so ridiculous. Ian Meyer did a good job of gaining that all by himself. Didn't need any help, and yet I think a flag is going to bring it back.
It would have been a pickup of 13 yards out to the 42. It would have been a first down. The flag's thrown at the end of the play, so it's going to cost the Cubs 10 yards from the point of the infraction, and it's going to bring up third and about 3, I believe, if they mark it off from where the flag is. Actually, the flag's at the 40, so they'll mark it back to the 30, and the Cubs will face third down and about 5.
Again, Ian Meyer did a good job of scrambling, found a running lane to the outside, had the first down easily, didn't need any blocks to get that, and the hold was just ridiculous.
Third down and a long 5 for Monett. Meyer will work out of the shotgun. 2 receivers wide right, 3 to the near side. Meyer takes the snap, looks left, flush from the pocket. Back to the 20. Now he rose late, hit as he throws, hits Michael Branch, and Branch will have the first down.
Branch knocked out of bounds, I guess, by number 49. It looked like Michael didn't go out, and he didn't go down, but the official blew the whistle, stopping the play. Some of the fans were unhappy with that, but the result, at least, is a 1st and 10 for the Cubs from their own 43-yard line.
Well, Michael threw a pretty good shot in at the end, and he was fortunate not to get a flag there. 1st and 10 for the Cubs after the gain of 13. The Cubs now with 13 first downs. Meyer will work out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, back to pass with time. Now the pocket collapses. He's hit, and he'll fall forward near the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and about 10.
Zach Burton and Austin McClintock on the stop.
No gain. 2nd and 10 for the Cubs. 4 receivers out, 2 to the right and 2 to the left. Branch is the lone tailback. Clock rolls with 6:15 left, 3rd quarter action. Cassville on top 20-7. Meyer takes the snap. Back to pass, has time. Flips it out to Crawford, who has the first down, or is close to the first down. A pickup of 9, maybe 10 on the pass play.
Garrett Knight on the stop is going to be a little bit short of the first. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 1 for the Cubs. Good job on the part of Meyer of finding Brody Crawford.
Meyer will quarterback sneak it up the middle. He goes to the 45. He needed a yard. He picked up 3, and the drive will continue.
Stephen Hunter on the stop for the Wildcats, but the gain is good for a first for the Cubs. 1st and 10 now from the Wildcats' 45-yard line.
Meyer out of the shotgun. Wildcats in a 4-man front. 3 linebackers, 4 defensive backs. Back to pass, Meyer. Cranks it up, fires deep, has a man, Brian Parra-Navarro, who makes a diving catch at the 10.
Beautiful pass, beautiful catch. Going to bring up 1st and goal, I believe, for the Cubs, just with the ball resting right on the 10-yard line. Brian went down as he caught the ball, so there was no tackle on the play, but a beautiful pass from Ian Meyer and a great catch by Brian Parra-Navarro.
Gain of 35 on the pass play, and the Cubs have it 1st and goal from the 10. They come out with 4 receivers. Michael Branch is the lone tailback. Meyer flips it near side. Brian Parra-Navarro, he's to the 5. He dives toward the end zone, and he is in for the score. Touchdown, Monett Cubs.
You've seen on television the players diving for the flag. That's just what Brian Pyro Navarro did, and just barely got the ball to come down on the end zone line, which is a touchdown.
And the ball came out late, so it's a good thing he made it to the end zone, or it would have been a turnover. Important PAT upcoming from Cameron Cody. Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it sneaks in the right upright. And just like that, the Cubs are back in this. It's Cassville 20, Monett 14, and that touchdown brought to you by the law offices of Randall, Mastery, and Randall. If you need an extra pointer or two from a trusted lawyer, call Randall, Mastery, and Randall at 235-8688, serving the Lawrence, Berry, and Stone County regions. All Monett Cubs kickoffs this year sponsored by Home Shield Pest Control. With over 20 years of industry experience, Home Shield Pest Control can tackle any unwanted insect or pest with an affordable, safe, and effective method. Be sure to call Daniel Vineyard at 772-4177. As we hit the 8:30 hour, a reminder that you're listening to Monett Cubs football on KKBL 95.9 FM, Monett, Missouri. Well, Leonard, that was a much-needed drive. The Cubs came through there to draw within 6.
Yes, Ian Meyer did a great job in that drive of standing in, finding his receivers, made a good run on the one run where he was forced out of the pocket, did a good quarterback sneak to pick up the first down. He was sort of the star of that drive.
Cubs now down by 6, 20-14. Kickoff is in the air. It's high, end-over-end kick that comes down at the 2-yard line. Return to the 5, 10, 15, out near the 20, and finally dropped at about the 23. That was a good hard return by Garrett Knight, and the Wildcats will have it 1st and 10 at their 23-yard line.
Brennan Kruger tripped him up, but that was an iffy tackle and looked like he might gain a lot more yardage. Cubs kickoff return scares me. I mean their kickoff coverage. They're not doing a very good job of tackling on that.
So here come the Wildcats, scored on their last drive. We'll see if the Cubs can get a stop here. Haney, the quarterback, gives on a dive play up the middle. That's Ruark again, and he rips off a gain of nearly 10 on a dive play. That guy's been running wild here tonight.
Michael Branch in on the tackle, and Michael is coming off the field. Looks like he's shaken up a little bit. Ruark is just running up the middle like there is no middle to the Cubs defense. Gain of 9, almost 9.5 on the play. 2nd and 1 for the Wildcats.
The ball is at the 32-yard line. Again, split backs behind Haney. He turns and gives to the first man through. Again, that's Ruark, and Ruark plows forward for a gain of a couple, and that'll be a Wildcat first down.
Alex Turner on the stop.
Tell you, Ruark's at 175 right now as far as yardage goes on just 10 carries. This one of his big games, I'm sure, on the season. Clock rolls as we hit the 4-minute mark here in the third quarter. Wildcats have it 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. Haney resets the tight end to the right side. Turns and gives to Ruark off right guard. Plows out across the 35 to about the 37.5. Be a gain of 3, maybe 4, and bring up 2nd down.
Onis Howard and Adam Long in on that tackle. Adam Long is in at nose guard right now, and he was in on that tackle.
2nd down, we'll call it 7. From the 33, or check that, from the 38.
Isn't it 3rd down?
No, it's 2nd. I think it's 2nd. Here's a handoff off right guard to Phelps. And Phelps across the 40 to about the 43 for a gain of 5.
Brought down by Brennan Kruger.
Now it's 3rd down. They picked up a first down. 3rd down 2. As the play comes in from the sideline, the play being brought in by, well, actually the quarterback Haney, who checked in with the coach. Haney under center. Takes the snap and gives right up the middle, and that'll be a first down. Again, Kyle Ruark with a hard run. Needed 2, picked up about 8.
Ian Meyer and Coy Butterworth on the stop, but Ruark is just hitting that hole, and there is nobody there till he gets about 8 yards down the field. Cubs are not filling their gaps. They're just rushing forward and not sealing at all, and Ruark has run wild all night.
Guys up front for the Wildcats, McClintock, Bailey, Perez, Phelps, and Fletcher doing a number here tonight. A dive play this time that's blown up by the Cubs defense.
Finally a play that looked like the Cubs defense used to look. Onis Howard in the leader there, but Corey Butterworth in on it also, and a tackle for a loss of a yard.
That was Phelps that was knocked down. Second down and 11. One of the few negative yardage plays for the Wildcats here tonight. Ball resting right on the 50 as we approach the 140 mark here in quarter number 3. Quarterback working under center. Turns, and now this is going to be called off. This is going to be a 5-yard penalty on the Wildcats as there's movement up front.
Right.
Procedure
going to bring up 2nd and 16 for the Wildcats,
who have yet to throw the ball tonight. They tried one time and were sacked. So they have not been in a passing situation, and we'll see if they keep it on the ground here on 2nd and 16.
It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Well, about a 4 3/4 yard penalty. Takes it back to just on this side of the 45. Come the Wildcats with it. Split backs behind Haney, who resets the tight end to the left side. He turns and gives on a dive play to Phelps, and Phelps again thrown down. He picks up maybe a half a yard, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Michael Branch with help from his friends on that one, but Michael made first contact. They gave him a gain of a yard on the play. I don't know how. They hit him behind the line of scrimmage and drove him back, but anyway, gained about a yard on the play. What is it, 3rd down?
3rd and 15, we'll call it.
The glare on that down marker over there, I can't read it.
It's 3rd down and 15. As Shannon Haney looks over the defense, he takes the snap. He gives on a pitch to Phelps, running left, strings it out, and is knocked out of bounds short of the first down. He needed 15, and it looks like he picks up about 12.
Excellent run by Phelps, and he got outside the Monett's coverage again. Onis Howard in on the push out, the stop. But a big gain. It's going to bring up 4th and about 3 for the Wildcats.
And they bring the punt unit on, so you got to be a little bit leery here, because keep in mind their punter is Phelps, who's their outstanding tailback. Line of scrimmage is the Cub 42. Snap back is a good one. Phelps kicks it away, and it's a short kick off the side of his foot that comes to the sideline, and the Cubs will end up with decent field position, as that's a punt that covers about 20 yards.
Yes, the Cubs dodged a bullet there. That punt could have pinned them inside their own 10 if it had been a really effective punt. So
it's a 16-yard punt, Leonard, no return. So Cubs will take that.
Good fortune for the Cubs, assisted by the 5-yard penalty against the Wildcats.
True. We're inside 30 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. The teams have traded touchdowns here in the 3rd quarter, but Monett with a chance now to tie it or maybe take the lead with a touchdown drive here. 1st and 10 from the 26. As Meyer will work under center here on 1st down. He turns and gives to Branch up the middle to the 30. Makes a man miss to the 35. Still on his feet and knocked down at the 37. That's a gain of nearly 12 yards and a Cub 1st down.
Finally brought down there by Garrett Knight. Very effective run that time by Michael. He found a little daylight for a change.
Clock now rolling inside 20 seconds left. We'll see if the Cubs get a playoff here before the end of the 3rd quarter. First and 10 from their own 38-yard line. Meyer works under center. He turns and gives to Branch, running right. Cuts it up, is hit and knocked down after a gain of just a yard, and the Cubs will face 2nd and 9. And that takes us to the end of the third quarter. Our score, Cassville 20, Monett 14. Back with the final 12 minutes after this timeout.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. Come on, like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know.
Versus Pittsburgh Pirates. That game held Saturday, October 1st at 3:15. That's the second to last game of the regular season, so it could be a huge game for the St. Louis Cardinals. But if you call 489-2277 and say Go Cubs, you'll win not 2, but 4 tickets to the Cards versus Pirates. That's a great giveaway here as we approach October. 2nd down and 9 for the Cubs as we start play here in the fourth quarter. Meyer turns and gives on the counter play to Branch, and Branch could never get anything going there, and he's knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard.
Kyle Ruark leading the charge there for the Wildcats.
Ball back at about the 38, so we'll call it 3rd and nearly 10. And the Cubs will spread it out here on 3rd and long. 3 receivers wide to the left, 2 to the near sideline. Meyer looks over the defense, takes the snap, back to pass, throws over the middle, has Swearingen for the first down to the 50 and down to the Wildcat 46-yard line.
Number 25, Garrett Knight for the Wildcats on the stop. 1st and 10 Cubs from the Wildcat 46.
You know, tonight Meyer has 9 completions to 6 different receivers. He's spreading the ball out. And a first down for the Cubs. Here's a little swing pass to Branch, who drops it on the near sideline. The incompletion will bring up 2nd down.
The pass was on the money. Michael was trying to run with it before he caught it. I think he was looking at the prospective tacklers coming up, but should have been completed. It might not have been much of a gain.
2nd and 10 following the incompletion. Meyer will work out of the shotgun. He looks to the sideline. 2 receivers near side, 3 to the far side. Meyer back to pass with time, throws over the middle, has Branch with a nice catch inside the 30.
Once again, Garrett Knight on the stop. Boy, an excellent pass into traffic by Ian Meyer, because Michael had Wildcats all around him, but went up and did a good job of catching the football.
1st and 10 Cubs at their 27-yard line. Again, the spread formation, 2 to the left, 3 to the near side. Meyer back to pass. Flush from the pocket. He's going to run it himself to the 25. He's to the 20, still on his feet. He's to the 15, driving down to about the 13-yard line. That'll be a Cub first down.
Number 3, Troy Rose danced him out of bounds at that point, but a very effective run and a powerful run by Ian Meyer.
Gain of 15 yards on the play from the 27 down to the 12. Cubs can pick up a first down without scoring here as they have it 1st and 10. Meyer will work under center. He turns and gives to Howard, running right. He's to the 10 and drives down near the 7-yard line for a gain of 5.
Brendan Strahan got an ankle and tripped up Onis Howard. But as you say, a gain of 5. The ball now resting at about just outside the 7-yard line of the Wildcats.
Oh, it's getting interesting all of a sudden. How about that?
Yes, it is.
We're inside 10 minutes left in this one. The Cubs looking for a tying touchdown here. Meyer takes the snap, turns and gives to Howard, who's hit in the backfield, and down he goes. A good effort there from the Wildcats.
Great tackle by number 39. That's Gilbert Medina of the Wildcats. Aaron tried to cut back, and Medina cut his legs out from under him for practically no gain. It's going to bring up 3rd and a short 5 or a long 4 for the Cubs.
Ball resting at the 7. The Cubs need to get down near the 2. Branch back in as he replaces Howard. He'll be the lone tailback. Meyer takes the snap, gives to Branch, up the middle he goes. He's hit near the line of scrimmage and falls forward down near the 5-yard line for a gain of only 2 yards.
Number 77 for the Wildcats, that's Devin Phelps. Got a hold of Michael's ankle and held him up, and then he got help. But big defensive play there by the Wildcats brings up 4th and about 3 for the Cubs.
I wonder if the Cubs might want to get Meyer out on the perimeter here and give him an option of throwing or running on 4th down. They'll go for it, obviously, here. 4th and 3 from the 5. Meyer under center, but before the snap, a timeout called by the Monett Cubs. We better keep it right here because we don't want to miss 1 second of this one. 4th down and 3, boy.
It's an important play, I guess, and worthy of a timeout, but I remember back in the first half where it would have been nice if the Cubs still had a timeout. I hope they don't burn them all too early.
I tell you what, getting to the edge here might be critical. You know, you want to try to slam it up the middle, but the Cubs have had a rough time doing that, and Meyer has had some good runs on the outside.
I'd like to have seen him just spread them across the field and let Meyer run it up the middle for 2 downs when they needed 5 yards there. I think he could have gotten it that way quite effectively. But that wasn't what they chose. They tried to get Michael, and Michael's drawing a crowd like a $100 bill on a busy street.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of analogies, but he has drawn a crowd all night long. My dad used to say something on a June bug, and I don't remember when he said something on a June bug. There was a crowd. I'll think of it before the night's done. 4th down and 3, and here come the Cubs to the line of scrimmage. Michael Branch is the lone tailback. Meyer under center, takes the snap, back to pass, throws, sideline. Crawford, touchdown! Monett Cubs. 5 yards out, and the Cubs have tied it. Crawford from 5 yards out has his 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Cubs are an extra point away from taking the lead with 8:22 left here in the 4th quarter. Cameron Cody on to attempt the PAT. The snap back, the ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it is good. 8:22 left here in the 4th quarter, and for the first time tonight, the Cubs lead it. It's Monett 21, Cassville 20. And that touchdown brought to you by the law offices of Randall, Mastery, and Randall. If you need an extra pointer or two from a trusted lawyer, call Randall, Mastery, and Randall at 235-8688. All kickoffs this year sponsored by Home Shield Pest Control. With over 20 years of industry experience, Home Shield can tackle any unwanted insect or pest with an affordable, safe, and effective method. Well, the Cubs have come all the way back. They lead at 21-20.
Notice all the touchdowns have been through the air.
Congratulations to Mike Meyer, who's our lucky winner tonight. Mike Meyer has called in. And I saw a brief message. It said something about they need to get Mike's number again. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll check into that. But congratulations to Mike Meyer, who won the 4 Cardinal Pirate tickets for October 1st.
And he may need to call back and give them his number or something.
He might need to do that.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to read that whole message. Here's a kickoff, a squib kick that rolls down the middle of the field, picked up finally at the 10. Phelps with it to the 15, breaks a tackle or two, and is finally dropped near the 17-yard line.
Onis Howard on the front of that group, I think. No, I take it back. It was number 82, not 42. It was C.J. Jobe on the front of that group that finally got Phelps down. He is an elusive runner, and the Cubs have had a lot of trouble tackling him if he's got just at least a little bit of leeway.
He's slippery.
Yes.
Very much. 8:11 left in this one. The Cubs lead it by a single point.
Well, on their first possession, we said the Cubs were in good position.
Yeah, don't say it again. They're at the 17
We're not going
again.
to comment on that this time.
Split backs behind the quarterback, Haney. Up the middle, it's handed off to Ruark, and he is slammed down at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Coy Butterworth on the stop. That's the kind of defense we've grown accustomed to from the Cubs, and we haven't seen it very much tonight.
No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. Ball right at the Wildcats 17. The Wildcats have yet to throw a pass tonight. Everything's been on the ground for them. They come out with a new look now with 2 receivers wide to the right. And there's a stop in action here as the officials take a timeout. Someone having an issue with equipment, maybe a chin strap, and we're ready for action now as the clock rolling again inside 7.5 minutes. Here's a pitch play right side to Phelps. Phelps hit in the backfield, and down he goes, down back at the 15-yard line.
Jed Anderson on the stop, but Ian Meyer made that play. Ian Meyer wouldn't let Phelps cut up, and he kept pushing the guy blocking him, caused Phelps to have to go further to the sideline, giving Anderson a chance to come and make the tackle.
Well, here's a huge play for the Wildcats. They trail for the first time. They face 3rd down and 12 from their 17. We'll see what they offer up here. Split backs behind Haney. Receiver wide right and left. Haney back to pass. Looking left, now scrambling to the 15. Hit and dropped at the 20 after a gain of just 5 yards.
Onis Howard on the stop for the Cubs. Cubs did a good job of covering their receivers and forcing the quarterback to scramble. Oh, we've got, wouldn't you know it, a penalty against the Cubs.
And what one is the call, Leonard? Did you see?
I couldn't see. I believe maybe, I'm not sure. It may have been defensive holding. I thought he gave a holding call, but let's wait and see.
Well, the gain was 5. And they're going to negate that gain and mark it off from the line of scrimmage. For 10.
So that'll bring up 3rd, I guess, and about 2.
I want to see what this call is here. It is defensive holding.
That's
Boy,
what they call
you very
holding.
seldom see that. But it's a 10-yard penalty against the Cubs that gives the Wildcats some life. It's 3rd down, and we'll call it 3rd and 2. Maybe a 3rd and a yard and a half here. 3rd and 2 from the 25. Here's a give up the middle, and it should be enough for a first down. Ruark pounding it up between the tackles. Needed a couple, and he picks up about 3 yards.
Curran Bartkowski was in the middle of that, but there are a number of Cubs involved, but not enough to prevent the first down by the Wildcats. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, just outside their own 28-yard line.
Well, the Cubs had them held, figuratively and literally, I guess there. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats from the 28. Here's misdirection to Phelps. Breaks a tackle, still on his feet across the 35 to about the 36 for a gain of nearly 8 yards.
Michael Branch in on the stop there. Again, Phelps just goes and goes, and we can't seem to get him down.
Gain of 8, 2nd down and 2. Clock rolling with 5:50 left here in the fourth quarter. Monett on top 21-20. Shannon Haney, the quarterback, breaks huddle, sends a wide receiver wide to the left. Haney takes the snap and gives to Ruark, who will have the first down as he gets out near the 40, and the Wildcat drive will continue.
Onis Howard did a good job of stopping Ruark and driving him back, but he'd already gained the necessary yardage before that contact. So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, again with the ball now resting just inside their own 41-yard line.
Gain of 4 for Ruark, which puts him at 193 tonight on 15 carries. Here come the Wildcats on 1st and 10 from their 40. Haney takes the snap and gives to Phelps, running right side across the 40, across the 45, and banged down near the 49 for a gain of 8 more, and it's 2nd and short.
Aiden Brown in a stop there, and Mason Swearingen. It's just like they obliterate that time the right side of the Cubs defensive line.
2nd down and 2. Handoff up the middle goes to the fullback Ruark, and he'll have the first down to the Cub 44.
He was just inches away from breaking for a score again. I'm really disappointed with the Cubs defensive front. Corey Butterworth on the stop there for the Cubs, but the Wildcats are running through the Cubs right now as if they were nailed to the ground.
Wildcats pick up their 13th first down. They have it at the Cub 44. 4.5 minutes left in this one. Haney, the quarterback, turns and gives up the middle, and this time the Cubs defense all over Ruark as he's knocked down for a loss of a yard.
Onis Howard on the stop for the Cubs.
Tell you what, this drive right here, so much
this could
on
be
it.
crucial. Yes.
Yeah, we're inside 4 minutes when this play is snapped. So for both teams, we're down to the critical time in this contest. As Haney takes the snap, he pitches near side to Phelps. Phelps hit from behind, and down he goes. Again, thrown for a loss of a yard.
Corey Butterworth on the stop.
Well, here we go again, 3rd and 12. Wildcats faced 3rd and long before and kind of were bailed out with a defensive holding penalty.
I still don't understand the spots of this ball. He was at least 3 yards deep in the backfield when he was tackled, and he lost a yard.
Yep. 3rd down and 12 from the Cub 47. Haney takes the snap, back to pass, throws over the middle, and it's dropped. Had his man out there, Colin Perriman, but he's unable to come up with it, and it brings up 4th down.
Wasn't a bad pass. It probably would not have been good for first because Perriman was hit just after he dropped the ball, and he probably would have had a gain of about 7 on the play, but as it is, going to bring up 4th and 12 for the Wildcats.
Perriman's still down on the ground as he really took a pop back there, and ball was thrown not real high. It hit him in the face mask actually, and it bounced away. Then he, like I said, took a big hit, and he's still on the ground. Probably had the wind knocked out of him, Leonard, don't you think?
Probably so, because just he was sort of reaching up, and the Monett tackler hit him in his midsection. So I would say that's definitely probably the problem.
And a clean play. I mean, there wasn't a leading with a helmet.
The Monett defender didn't know if he'd caught the ball or not. He was just going to make the tackle.
Well, it's 4th and 12 here with 3:10 left. Will the Wildcats go for it, or will they pin it on their defense to stop the Cubs? It looks like they're bringing their punt unit on. Keep in mind, though, River Phelps, their tailback, is the punter.
I can't believe they'll actually punt, but let's
Cubs
see.
have no one back, so the Cubs aren't buying it either. Cubs just need to stay away from the ball. Now they send someone back.
No holding penalties.
Yeah, no turnovers here. So Phelps stands at his own 43. The snap back is a good one. He kicks it away. End over end kick that hits and is fielded late by Brian Parra Navarro. That was
dangerous, yes.
But he's able to get it and return it for a yard out to the 14. 34-yard punt, 1 yard return. And the Cubs have it now. 3 minutes exactly on the clock. 3 minutes left in this one. The Cubs lead 21-20. The Wildcats do have 3 timeouts. And Leonard, you talked about that missed extra point. And right now it's the difference in this one.
It's looming large at this point. The Cubs need to pick up 1 first down for sure and cause the Wildcats to maybe use up their timeouts.
Here we go. 1st and 10 for the Cubs at their 13-yard line, 14-yard line. Here is Branch running near side, breaks a tackle to the 15, to the 20, 25, 30, and knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. A gain of 22 and a first down.
Finally knocked out there by number 35, Anthony Talbert. But Michael punished him as he pushed Michael out of bounds. You have to say Michael is a punishing runner.
Yeah, and out to the 37, actually. So a gain of 23. And that gets Branch to 110 yards on the night on 20 carries. So 5.5 yards a pop for Michael tonight. 1st and 10 Cubs. Clock stopped with 2:50 left. Here's Branch again off left guard. Leans into the pile and falls forward for a gain of a yard or two, and the Wildcats call a timeout.
Number 35, Anthony Talbert on the stop. I hope the coaches remind Michael cover the ball with both arms.
Absolutely.
Because he tends to, in attacking his tacklers sometimes, he exposes the ball to being hit. So,
Leonard, football coaches always talk about 4 points of contact or 5 points of contact, your hand, your forearm, your ribs.
I believe 3 maybe, but
they always talk about, but you got to keep the ball
hold it into your
close
body
in your
and
body.
cover the end of it and keep it under your arm.
Yeah. So, well, maybe I'm thinking both hands.
Well, if you have both hands, that would be right. But if you were running with one hand, at least cover the end of the ball and the other end next to your body and the side, in your ribs.
You know what the Cubs need right now? 8 yards. They need 8 yards, and that would go a long way to securing a hard-fought victory. But, boy, we're a long ways from that. It's 2nd down, 8.5, as the ball sets at the 38-yard line.
2:45 left. We only used that 15 seconds and all of that.
That's right. Branch ran out of bounds on first play and then a timeout after that. Branch is the lone tailback. Meyer under center, takes the snap, gives to Branch. Up the middle he goes, across the 40, out near the 43-yard line for a gain of about 5 yards.
Anthony Talbert again on the stop.
And Wildcats electing not to call a timeout here. So the game clock rolls inside 2:25. Cubs can let it go inside 2:10 before they have to snap it here. And the Cubs may just let it roll down and call a timeout themselves. 3rd down and 3 upcoming, so obviously a huge play, and Coach Ewell is going to call a timeout with 1 second on the play clock. So 2:08 left in this one, and the Cubs will call a timeout. Well, on a big 4th down play, they put the ball in Meyer's hands and let him roll out. He flipped it out there to Crawford.
I don't think they'll do that this time.
You're not going to gamble?
No.
You're not going to gamble with it?
I think they could do it and complete the pass. Cassville's pass defense is not that great, but their running defense
Are you
sure
telling me
good.
if you don't fake the ball to Michael Branch that 4 or 5 guys are going to jump on Michael?
They certainly will that.
But it's easy for me to coach because I'm way up here, and I get to go home after the game and not worry about it.
That's right. So, boy, the fans here have certainly got their money's worth if you like excitement, because this has been an exciting football game.
It really has, and hard fought, and one of those games, and it's a cliche, but you hate to see either team lose here. You know.
I don't.
Well, come on.
I don't hate to see Cassville lose.
I'm trying
I will
to be
I
unbiased.
will commend them on playing an extremely hard-fought and well-played game. They, my hat's off to Cassville. They have looked great here tonight.
3rd down and 3 from the 43. Here's Meyer. He's going to run it on the right side. He cuts it up, dives forward, and I think he'll have the first down, Leonard, and there you go.
But he went out of bounds again, stopping the clock. It would have been nice if he could have stayed in bounds, but at least they got another 4 downs to kill clock.
It's a gain of 5 out to the 49. And Leonard, he did not go out of bounds. They stopped the clock to move the chains. They rolled it, so we're inside
Good.
2 minutes left.
Because I thought he went out of bounds, but I like the call that he didn't. And but Ian, I don't think intended to throw the ball. I think he was expecting to run it all the way and did a good job.
1st and 10 for the Cubs as we're inside 1:40 left in this one. Handoff up the middle to Branch, who has 2 hands on the ball. He dives forward down to about the Wildcat 47 for a gain of 4, and quickly the Wildcats call a timeout.
Austin McClintock on the stop for the Wildcats.
Well, that was a good call, I got to say. Give the broadcaster a gold star.
You did.
But
he wasn't going to throw it. That's the part
I didn't say throw it. I just say get him on the perimeter. Maybe Derek's headset's tied into mine.
That could be.
I hope not. Confuse the heck out of him.
Bill Belichick might do something like that, you think?
No comment.
Hey, I have the greatest admiration for him. He is one heck of a football
Boy, he is
coach.
a coach. And to win a game like last night with a 3rd-string quarterback that nobody has heard of.
It's just amazing.
Oh, he's a great coach.
I have great respect for him. And I don't worry about their deflated footballs. I always thought that was the officials' job to make sure the balls were not inflated, not the quarterback's job. I thought that was ridiculous.
Well, he'll come back rested and ready to go. 2nd down and 6 for the Cubs with 1:33 left. Meyer under center, turns and gives to Branch. Branch breaks 1 tackle. He'll have the first down. Get down, Michael, get down. As he'll pick up 10 yards and a Cub first down.
Number 3, Troy Rose on the stop for the Wildcats. And the Wildcats don't have much spring in their step anymore. I think they've...
You know, the scoreboard says 2 timeouts left for the Wildcats. I believe they only have 1.
It's to the point just about that the Cubs could take a knee.
Which might be the wise thing to do. It's 1st and 10 for the Cubs at the Wildcat 36. Meyer turns and gives to Branch, running up the middle. And he dives down to the 30 for a gain of 6 more. He's up to 136. And we are inside 1 minute left as the Wildcats call a timeout.
Stephen Hunter and Kyle Ruark on the stop for the Wildcats.
Well, if the Cubs are able to come away with this victory, they've earned every ounce of it, because for the longest time they were playing from behind and they held their cool, down 13 points in the second half to come back to take this 1-point lead. And tell you what, it has been a tough one.
It really has. You just have to really compliment the Cassville Wildcats. They have played well. They've taken away the Monett running game early. Late, Monett is getting it going again. They had trouble with the Monett passing game, and offensively, they ran their offense well, and they were without the forward pass. They haven't completed a pass in this game, so they were strictly one-dimensional, and still the Cubs couldn't stop them.
And if you look down the line, these two teams might see each other again. You just never know. Now,
I'd almost bet on it.
2nd down and 4 for the Cubs. And I'd be shocked if they hand the ball off here. I would think that Meyer would take a knee, but we'll see here. No timeouts left for the Wildcats, so really Meyer will take the snap. Will give it to Branch.
Well,
And Branch dives forward from the 30 down to about the 27 for a gain of 3.
That is not smart. There's no reason to hand the ball off. They need to be taking a knee. I see now why Cassville beat Reed Spring, though, maybe.
Oh, absolutely.
Cassville has a quality team. There's no doubt about it.
Game clock rolling inside, 35 seconds left, so the Cubs will need to snap it one more time. And I think maybe they'll go to victory formation here as Branch is back deeper. Meyer takes a knee. He loses a yard, but that's irrelevant at this point. The fans here on the west sideline come to their feet, as do the fans on the far sideline as they salute their teams. The clock rolling down to 0, and the Monett Cubs have escaped as they defeat the Cassville Wildcats 21-20 in what was an exciting game from Burrow Fowler. We'll slip away and hear from some of our great sponsors, and when we return, Leonard will take a look at tonight's scoring summary. Again, the Monett Cubs win it 21-20. Back with our post-game show after this timeout.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know.
The game started with the Wildcats kicking off to the Cubs. Cubs picking up a couple of first downs, but then misfired on some passes and had to punt the ball to the Wildcats. A very effective punt, rolled dead at the Wildcats 17-yard line, and we commented that the Wildcats were in rather precarious field position, but on the very first play, Kyle Ruark broke free up the middle and rambled 83 yards for a touchdown, shocking the Cubs and the fans here in the Cubs stands. For some reason, I'm not sure why, but River Phelps, the kicker, missed the extra point. So it left the Wildcats up 6-0 with 8:15 left in the first quarter. Almost exactly 3 minutes later, after the Cubs had faked a punt, going for a punt, and decided to try to pick up the yardage on a running play, the Cassville stopped the Cubs and took over at the Cubs' 27-yard line. And from that advantageous field position, the Wildcats managed to move the ball down to the goal line, and Kyle Ruark scored for the Wildcats on a 3-yard run. This time, River Phelps kicked the conversion, putting the Wildcats up 13-0. And that's the way the first quarter ended. In the second quarter, with 11:21 left, and the Cubs facing 4th and 8 from the Wildcats' 32-yard line, quarterback Ian Meyer found Brody Crawford open in the end zone and lofted a 32-yard touchdown pass. Brody Crawford, 32 yards from Ian Meyer, putting the Cubs finally on the scoreboard. Cameron Cody kicked the conversion, making the score Cassville 13, Monett 7. And that's the way the first half ended with Cassville ahead by 6. The Cubs had to kick off to Cassville to start the third quarter, and in a very business-like fashion, Cassville moved the ball down the field and scored. Quarterback Shannon Haney on a 1-yard run with 8:44 left in the third quarter. And this time, River Phelps kicked the conversion, putting the Wildcats up 20-7. At this point, it looked a little bit bleak for the Cubs. But the Cubs came back with 4:59 left in the third period. Brian Parra-Navarro received a 10-yard pass from Ian Meyer for a touchdown. Cameron Cody again kicked the conversion, making the score Cassville 20, Monett 14. And then in the fourth quarter, and Benji, I forgot to write the time down. Did you write the time down?
I did not.
About midway through the fourth quarter, the Cubs mounted a drive, and Brody Crawford received a 5-yard pass from Ian Meyer, and Cameron Cody again kicked the conversion, finally putting the Cubs up 21-20.
If memory serves me right, it's about 5:18 left, I believe.
Well, or was there 3 minutes left when the Cubs kicked off?
No, the Cubs got the ball back with 3 minutes left.
Okay, that's right.
So there was about 5:15 left.
There was approximately 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter when Brody Crawford received a 5-yard pass from Ian Meyer. Cameron Cody kicked the terribly important conversion, putting the Cubs up by 1. And after that, the Wildcats mounted a little bit of a drive, moved the ball to about midfield, but their drive played out. They punted to the Cubs. Cubs took the ball and killed the clock, ran out the last 3 minutes of the game, and maintained possession, didn't have to give the ball back to the Wildcats, and come away with a victory, 21 for Monett and 20 for Cassville.
With the victory, Monett moves to 5-1. For Cassville, they dropped to 4-2, and this ends a 4-game winning streak for the Wildcats. Monett with a crucial victory here tonight against the Wildcats that will help them both at the conference and the district level, but still a lot of football left to play this season. Hats off to both the Wildcats and the Cubs tonight for a well-played game. The Cubs win at 21-20. We'll be back with more of our postgame show after this timeout. You're listening to Monett Cubs and Big 8 Conference Football on KKBL and the Talon Sports Network.
More than 12 million children in the U.S. are at risk of hunger every day. At Tyson Foods, team members across the country fight against and raise money for hunger relief in communities. Since 2000, donated 68 million pounds of protein to hunger, but it doesn't begin to address the needs out there. Please join us by becoming a hunger relief in our own community. Together, we can feed those in need. Tyson Foods is a proud sponsor of Monett.
IMEC is a manufacturer of sheet metal fabrication and machine parts for their manufacturers. Established in 1982, IMEC has found that a commitment to investing in people and equipment has enabled growth and added services to customers. Skilled employees, modern CNC equipment, and a dedication to meeting customer needs and expectations ensure quality while providing turnaround of required components. IMEC, located at 1716th in Monett, is a proud supporter of the Monett.
What happened to paying one price and getting everything included? You buy an airline ticket and extra to bring a change of clothes, book a hotel room, and you're shelling out for Wi-Fi, price bottled water. Really? Imagine my delight when I found out roadside assistance is now included with my shelter insurance policy. So if I get a flat tire and need it, I just call and they take care of me. Additional cost, but some restrictions apply.
Brought to you by Shelter Insurance. See Andy Brandt for a free insurance rate.
For all things Monett Cubs, tune in to KKBL 95.9 The Buzz. Foods Incorporated is the world's largest privately held cheese processing company. However, it's the largest private label cheese supplier, retail market, and the largest food cheese supplier. Customer loyalty, long-term job security depend on being what you do. Schreiber Foods has appreciated being a member of the Monett community, looks forward to their continued involvement in years to come. More than 30 years ago, Jack Henry Associates was co-founded by the company's name, Jerry Hall, based on 3 fundamentals. Do the right thing, do whatever it is, and have fun. These simple but powerful tenets have enabled the company to prosper in an extremely competitive business environment, to provide rewarding professional opportunities for its associates, to establish a corporate culture that has integrity-based business relationships, to generate an impressive rate of return for its shareholders. Jack Henry and Associates, West in Monett. Staff world leader in aluminum solutions. They are shaping the future through a global reach and
Here
local
comes Kyle.
within extrusions, building systems, and tubing. Indefinitely recyclable and sustainable, aluminum is the perfect answer for many industries. Staff places great importance on a safe working environment and adhering to their core values. Staff and employees have a drive for success and a desire to serve their customers and community. For employment opportunities, them at 808 County Road or call 412-341. That plant has been providing innovative aluminum since 1965.
Holy cow.
Back at Burl Fowler, the Cubs win at 21-20, and we're joined in the post game by Coach Kyle Wood. And Coach, looking over the unofficial stats here in the press box as we get ready to talk here. And you know, what I was going to say was had them all the way, right, Coach? I mean, that was a tough game.
Benji, no comment.
Wow, I tell you what, Cassville came out and hit you in the face right off the bat.
They absolutely did. They jumped out to, what, that 13-0 lead. You know, and they're just running. I mean, Coach Weldy over there, he didn't do anything that we hadn't seen on film that we didn't rep. And, you know, it was not our cleanest game defensively. We made mistakes that cost us big time, you know. I'm super pumped we held River under 100, but obviously he's not the guy that hurt us tonight. You know, what the Ruart kid went for, what does it say, 200 on your sheet?
Yep.
I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah, he had 200 yards, of course, ripped off 83 in the game's, you know, their first play from scrimmage. You take out a couple of those big plays, and you guys hung with them and worked. And in the second half, you did start making some plays for negative yardage, and that was the difference.
Well, you know, we tried to make a few adjustments, and honestly, our major adjustment, and it really came from our kids, was we were going to do less, right? Instead of me trying to make something happen, we're going to let them kind of read stuff, let them read the steps of the linemen in front of them up front. And I just started kind of picking a couple blitzes here and there, and a couple of them hit pretty big. Then as soon as we could get Cassville in the 2nd and 11, then they're out of their game, right? You know, if it was a first down, they get 4 yards, then they can get 3 and 3, and it's a first down. So, you know, once we get them playing behind the sticks and a little off the script, then, you know, stuff starts happening for us. You know, I was really worried there because we had that huge 3rd down stop, and then we have just a silly holding penalty. Yeah. And it was on a receiver out there who the ball wasn't even supposed to go to. So it didn't even really make any sense. And it was legit. The kid shouldn't have done what he did. And so, you know, we had a lot of penalties. I mean, the second touchdown was a penalty, right? Which was just another silly penalty. So we didn't play our sharpest game. I'll tell you that right now. But the scoreboard says 21-20, so we'll definitely take that.
Well, whether it's 1 or 15 or 20, it's still a victory and against one of your rivals. And I know that this rival means a lot to you too, as you've been on both sides. And
yeah,
you know,
it's you know, I've seen my fair share of tough ball games against Monett and Cassville, and that might have been the best one yet, the tightest one yet. I mean, I was here back in 08 on the other side, and then we saw them again, and when they beat us in 2012, and whenever they Monett made their run. So it's just, I mean, it's a fantastic rivalry, and I'm still waiting for my heart to stop beating. I think it's been, I mean, just slow down, not stop.
Yeah,
just slow down, because I've been. I text my wife. I was like, about 10:30 this morning, and I was getting pretty worked up then. You know, just you start re-guessing everything. Did I do it right? Did we prepare? And it's tough. Against some people who are some really good friends. So that's really, it's my 2nd year gone from there, so I don't know the kids as much. You know, there's a few here and there, but their offensive coordinator is one of my best friends. So.
Yeah. So you guys matched wits here tonight, and it came down to a couple drives late in the game.
And our kids made a play. You got to give it to them. They took a couple chewings, and they kept responding. And when it really counted, we made some big stops. We made back-to-back stops finally there in the 4th quarter, Benji. And Coach Ewell had his offense rolling by then, and we were able to pull it out.
Yeah, good, hard-fought victory for the Cubs, and one that will help them both in the conference and obviously district, and there's a good chance you'll probably see these guys again, so you can start thinking about that.
Well, I'll tell you, we're going to tackle dive. It's the last thing we do.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's Coach Wood. We're going to talk it over to Coach Yule later in the postgame. We'll be back with more after this timeout.
Hey, this is David from Monett Rental and Sales. Goofy Cardinal baseball guy. Yeah, he's wore that in the ground, haven't he? Tony and I, he's a smart one. We're still out here east of Monett. On 10 years now, renting equipment to lift, dig, bury, smooth, cut, till, all, level, wash, drive, mix, buff. You get the idea. Cousin, he's not really your cousin. We just call him that. They can fix about anything, small engine-wise. Me, well, consistently I show up to work on time. Hey, come see us 3 miles east of Business 60 or call 236-008 and see what we can do for you.
Joke, it's no joke. Don't make it easy complicated when all you have to do is pick up the give Monett Glass Amir a call at 412-235-6018. See that broken window to custom shower door. That pesky crack in your car window that just bigger. Monett Glass Amir can help. So don't wait. Give Jeff and the guys a call at 417-235-6018. If it shatters, it matters at Monett Glass, 1600 Wellington Avenue in Monett. Log on to monettglass.com, 417-235-6018.
Get it all the time.
In the Monett Times.
Serving Monett and the surrounding areas for 90 years, the Monett Times features in-depth local and information about your friends and neighbors on a daily basis. Also on the internet at www.monett-times.com. Times helps you reach over 13,000 area codes through the Monett Times and the Monett Times.
Pretty face, one that can handle the roads and the tough jobs. You want a full series, and when you want that truck at this price with the features the other dealers have, then you want Jimmy Mitchell. Whether it's an F-150, 250, 50 diesel or gas, regular or crew cab, Jimmy Mitchell Motors. Get the truck you want at the price others beat. Come to Jimmy Mitchell Motors and see.
Nobody beats ours. The Monett Cubs Athletic Boost would like to invite you to become part of this season's Pride Catch the Spirit membership drive. Athletic programs serve as the window to the and community. Becoming part of the Monett Athletic Booster Club will help the athletic program and support efforts to keep. They support all high school athletic programs, monetarily or with volunteer support. Spirit, your help, financial or volunteering time is greatly appreciated. For more information about Booster Club, contact a Booster Club member. And don't forget to follow them on Facebook for the latest on upcoming events.
Back at Burl Fowler, Benji Finsky joined by Coach Derek Ewell. Coach Ewell, a huge win tonight, a come-from-behind 21-20 thriller against the Wildcats. Your kids hung in there and found a way tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know where to start about tonight, but just looking at your stat sheet, the thing that jumps out at me is Cameron Cody made all of his PATs, and that was the difference. I mean, if you think about it that way, he had a soccer game and came back right. I mean, he didn't do any pregame, and he got here literally right before the game. So even that, is just something you just kind of shake your head at. But, yeah, I mean, tonight, I'm proud of a lot of guys, but I'm really proud of our center. Young man that came in, Caleb Hilton, hadn't played really any center all year as far as a varsity game, and he was thrown into the fire early, and I think he did a heck of a job.
Yeah, and to do it in an adverse situation like that, tremendous testament to him being ready. And that's through practice and preparation. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to pull that off. So a great job up front there. And he allowed Meyer to have time to throw, and he opened some holes up the middle as well. So, a well-balanced attack tonight for the Cubs, running for 224, passing for 184, so over 400 yards of offense tonight. And Meyer with 11 completions tonight, and he hit 6 different receivers.
Yeah, I mean, it was balanced. I thought Ian did a good job. Once Ian realized that, he was going to be protected, I think that, he felt more confident as far as looking downfield. And he basically stretched some plays a little longer, and they weren't designed the way that they happened, but receivers did a good job finding an opening, and he found them. So, I thought Ian showed a lot of confidence tonight. I thought Mikey did a good job. At first, I think he was a little frustrated. At halftime, had to talk to him a little bit. Just, hey, there's another half to play. And, we played a pretty poor first half, and we're fortunate to be where we were. And, I felt good about that. I've been on the other end of that where I thought our team played very good, and we were only up by a touchdown. And you look at it going, oh, my goodness, if we can't play – much better than that, and they're right there next to us. So I didn't feel super, I don't know how to put that, but good job. I didn't feel just, super good or bad about the half, but, and then when they came out and scored, the first drive, we talked about at halftime, hey, let's get a stop, we'll get the ball, we'll put the pressure back on them, and then they scored. And so then even then the kids, they had to, kind of suck it up and figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah. At halftime, you were outgaining Cassville 200 to 162, and I looked at Leonard and said, I double-checked my math, and I said, it didn't feel like that. It felt like that Cassville had put up some pretty big numbers, but you were there. You were hanging with them. But, yeah, down by 2 scores, your kids kept their cool, put together 2 or 3 nice drives, and you started getting some stops on defense, too.
Yeah, and it seemed like we always had a long field. That if anything, yeah, they were able to move the ball. They scored some points, but they put the field position was always we were backed up. And so that's why we had more yards in the first half, because it seemed like we were always starting inside our 20 or at our 20. River did a good job kicking it in the end zone. He was pretty juiced up. He's kicking the ball to that end zone.
Yeah.
He played a heck of a game.
He sure did. And, the Wildcats played a very good game. They had no turnovers. They were penalized only 3 times. And, they stayed with their game plan. They threw the ball 1 time. They tried to throw it another time. You got a sack. So their game plan was pretty simple tonight. They were going to try to hit up the middle with Ruark and then try to get Phelps on the edge, and they hung with it most of the night. Your defense found a way to stop at the end. Offensively for you guys tonight, Meyer 11 of 16 passing tonight. And Crawford had a big night receiving as he had 4 catches, 64 yards, and 2 big touchdowns.
Yeah, he had 2. We used all 4 downs tonight, a couple times. And the one that he caught for the touchdown that took, eventually put us ahead was a play that we called earlier over here. And we had a procedure call, and he was wide open.
Yep.
And it was something that, just over watching film, we put it in for this week in particular. And so, Mikey was going to be the guy that they're focusing on the goal line. And so I told my guys, you run it like you got the ball. Go get in the end zone. And we ran a bootleg, and he was wide open. I think both of them were open, but that was a good play for us.
It really was. He scored 2 touchdowns on 4th downs tonight. And then Navarro had 1 as well. So a good come-from-behind victory that propels you into the last section of the regular season. This obviously will help you in the conference race, but probably more importantly, the district race. Now it'll be important to maintain that momentum as you go into the final 3 games against McDonald County, East Newton, and Seneca.
Yeah, we have homecoming next week, so the kids will be excited for that, and there'll be all kinds of things that they do. And my philosophy is I just let them do whatever. Go get on the float, go have fun, enjoy it. It's your last year, senior, whatever, but just be focused when you show up for that game. And I hope our kids will be mature enough to do that. And Matt County, I don't know really much about them, but we get to have them here this year. We don't have to go over there.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to always play at home. Well, Coach, I'm going to let you go. I know you got a lot going on. Congratulations on a big win, and good luck as you get ready for next week.
Thanks a lot, Benji.
Thank you. We'll be back with more of our postgame after this timeout.
He's over 30. He's over 20. He's over 10. It's a touchdown.
Nothing like football. The light, cheers of the crowd, and getting a chance to see our local athletes and kids give it. Give God. Come to a game. Support our local schools. Community National Bank. A better way to bank. For FDIC. Visit online at cnbbanking.com.
This is Darren Newbold with Community National. You're listening to 95.9.
Whether it's Chevy or GM, stop Hayes Automotive at highways 39 and 60 from Missouri. They've got what you're looking for and a variety of styles and colors to choose from. If it's fuel you seek, check out the Chevy Cruze. For more see the Malibus or Impalas. They've got trucks, Silverados, Sierra and Colorados. What about SUV? You're covered with Tahoe, Yukon, Equinox, and Terrain. If luxury is what you're after, it has Buick and Cadillac. And if you want to raise it up a bit, see the Camaros or Corvette. Automotive in Aurora, Missouri, junctions of Highway 9 and 60, or visit them online at automotive.com.
What are you doing?
Watch those guys work.
I only see one guy working. What are the other guys?
See how they're pointing all that garbage where they're talking how to get rid of it.
And the other guys?
Oh, that's Doty Trash Service. Don't talk trash. They don't waste any time getting to work. By the time guys from the other service get it figured out, Doty Trash Service will have the job done.
So why would you anyone else to get rid of your trash?
Beats me.
Doty Trash Service, serving Monett and towns. For weekly pickup, you can depend. Or those bigger jobs, call Jim today. 678-1350.
For home sweet home, or for condos, single wide studios, or for ranch boats, 2 stories or 20. Red bluebirds, white squirrels, black walnut, whatever back door, we're for that. Or for the sun rise over the Mississippi and set in Missouri. Or for kicking off your heels and hanging up your hat in the boot. And have a home in Missouri, we have a policy for.
Hi, I'm Chad Yarnold, Missouri Farm Bureau. If you're in Berry or Lawrence County, I've got you.
In a hurry? Why? At Old Town Pharmacy, you will find fast food service. They accept almost all plans and gladly match any local competitor, including the $4 generic. They offer delivery services several weeks and have a drive-through for drop-off pickup for added convenience. Open the week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Sunday 9 to 3, and Sunday 12 to 4. Old Town Pharmacy, 100 Chapel in Monett in the Old Town Village. Call 1-635.
Back at Burl Fowler, Benji Finsky alongside Leonard Bauer. Time to look at post-game stats here as we move along. For the Cassville Wildcats, they finished with 41 rushes tonight for 297 yards unofficially. They were 0 of 1 passing, so 297 yards of total offense. The Wildcats picked up 13 first downs tonight, had no turnovers, only 3 penalties for 14 yards, 3 punts for a 30.3-yard average. For the Monett Cubs, they finished with 46 rushes for 224 yards. They were 11 of 16 passing for 184 more. So the Cubs tallied 408 yards of total offense tonight. 23 first downs. That's a high water mark for the Cubs this year. They had 1 turnover, a fumble in the first half, 6 penalties for 50 yards, and 1 punt for a 36-yard average. Individually for the Cassville Wildcats, they were led by Kyle Ruark tonight. What a great night for him. 17 carries, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. River Phelps finishes with 19 carries and 92 yards. The quarterback, Haney, 5 carries, 5 yards, and 1 score. Haney was 0 of 1 passing tonight. For the Monett Cubs, they were led on the ground by Michael Branch, 26 carries for 139 yards. Onis Howard finished with 8 carries and 22 yards. Ian Meyer, 8 carries for 30 yards. Mason Swearingen had 3 first-half carries for 23 yards. Brody Crawford, 2 carries for 2 yards. And Brian Parra Navarro, 1 carry for 8 yards. Ian Meyer, 11 of 16 tonight passing. He had 3 early incompletions and then caught fire. He was 11 of 16 tonight with 3 touchdowns. He hit Brody Crawford 4 times for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brian Parra Navarro had 2 catches in the same drive for 45 yards and a touchdown. Michael Branch, 2 catches for 32 yards. Mason Swearingen, 1 catch for 16 yards. Jed Anderson had 1 grab for 15, and Alex Turner 1 catch for 12 yards. Leonard, an exciting game. The Cubs, 408 yards of total offense, just enough to pull out the victory.
Yes, there were a couple of drives that were stymied by fumbles or penalties and stuff. But, you know, the good thing about this is the internal fortitude the Cubs showed in coming back after they made a lot of mistakes, didn't play well in the first quarter, got down by 2 touchdowns, and then we're down by 2 touchdowns again early in the third quarter. So this, you know, speaks well of their internal fortitude, their determination, their poise in coming back when they were down, and I'm really proud of that in them tonight. They made too many mistakes, though, and their defense against Cassville's run was much too porous, I felt. But you have to give Cassville credit. They did a great job of blocking for Ruark especially. And Phelps did a good job of getting his own yardage, some when he got to the outside. So, and their defense was really tough on the Cubs running. They just couldn't stop those passing.
Yeah, that was the difference here tonight. We're going to slip away one final time when we come back. We'll set the stage for what will it be, week number 7 of the season, as the Cubs will take their
McDonald County homecoming
back here with McDonald County back here to Borough Fowler. We'll be back to wrap it up after this timeout.
Have all expenses come at a bad? Well, relax. Since 1996, Cashers has been here to help. Monett Cashers can loan you up to
Okay,
$500
about 3 minutes or so.
your personal post-dated check, or up to with a car title loan while you car. Like a rock, Monett Check Cashers is conveniently located behind Taco Bell. And staff has years of experience. So if you need extra cash, give us a call. Cashers, where customer service still exists. Call 235-2270.
Hi, this is Sam Green from Remax in Monett. From one fan to another, I will be your real estate agent of choice. To our customers, we offer service, knowledge, and skill from over 20 years of experience. And that's what it takes to get your property sold, not just listed. If you're serious about selling, you can call at Remax Properties in Monett at 235-2200. We're located between McDonald's and Walmart on Highway 60. See you soon. Hi, Roger. We're big store with a lot of stuff. There's always something new to talk about. The Moss Makita power tool and pliers and screwdrivers. We also have clothing at Race Brothers. In addition to Wrangler, we have Pro Girl, Cinch, Rocky Mountain, Justin, Double H, and Montana Silk, belt buckles, jewelry, and figurines. We have air compressors, pressure washers, operators, and welders. Come on out to Race Brothers. Springfield, Chargers, and Monett. You'll like it. Tell a friend. Race Brothers, Farm and Home Supply.
Where and Central Sheet Metal has been doing business in the Lawrence County area at their office in Aurora, Missouri for over 60 years. Wow, that's a lot. Central Sheet Metal is your hometown Carrier dealer. Been installing quality Carrier parts air conditioners for over 55 years. Man, that's a lot. Did you know invented air conditioners and have been an industry leader for over 100 years? Really a lot. Parkway Hardware and Central Sheet Metal is proud to sponsor high school football in the Lawrence and Berry County area. Luck and have a great season. Parkway Hardware and Central Sheet Metal, 23 West Dollar, or go by or call 673-3839.
Home Shield Pest Control wants you to know that if your home could talk, it may tell you it's feeling well due to uninvited visitors, ants, wasps, spiders, rodents, and other pests lurking in your home or business. With over 20 years industry experience, Home Shield Pest can remove those uninvited insects and affordable, safe, and effective Home Shield Pest Control. Call Dan Jr. today at 772-2177. That's 772-4177.
It's the place, there's no place like home. It's a circle around your fire pit where all the junior birds get passed around like bowls of ice cream. It's bacon and eggs and the skillet, along with the laughter.
At Shelter, we don't just insure your home, we insure the memories that live inside it. Ask for details. Shelter Insurance. We're your shelter.
For a insurance review, contact Shelter Insurance Agent Scott Thrasher in Monett.
You choose where you buy your car. Choose where you wash it. You choose your oil change. Even after this, you don't have a choice. Cassville is the right choice. With years experience and certified repair,
That's
car
not
rental,
up.
and the experience to deal with your insurance company.
And they don't have ads that run all the way down there.
Body shop. It's for quality and education for tools of the trade. Stop by 712 West 10 in Cassville.
1-800-900-1590.
Steel owners don't need to worry about precision piston engineering, high-tech polymer housing, or advanced operator systems. At Steel, we've already thought about all that, so our customers can just start and get to work. See the
Hey, Coast to Coast, your locally authorized South Kyler and check out their complete line of steel chain blowers and trimmers. Brand of gas-powered handheld outdoor equipment in America. Coast to Coast. Just
Back one final time at Burrow Fowler tonight. The Monett Cubs win it 21-20. Leonard, a great game tonight here from Burrow Fowler. It sets the Cubs up to make a good run here late in the season. The Monett now 5-1 on the season, and they have 2 home games left next week with McDonald County, and then week 9 with East Newton, and in between a trip to Seneca. So Monett's in a spot now to make a run toward district play.
They're really in an advantageous position, in especially in the conference, but also in the district, I would say too. Cassville had beat Reed Spring, and now Monett has beaten Cassville. So we'll see how all of this plays out in the district seedings. But we know that Monett is, at this point, can play with anybody in the district and anybody in the conference other than Lamar. And they played with Lamar. They were ahead of Lamar for 3 quarters. So this game tonight was a test of as internal fortitude, as we said. Cubs dug a hole for themselves, but they managed to show the courage to dig themselves out and eke out the victory. So it was, I think, a really, how shall I say it, a really beneficial game for the Cubs to find out that they can come back from two touchdowns down. And they certainly have made enough mistakes that they need to work on avoiding.
Well, sure, and it's great to work on stuff after a victory rather than a loss. So Cassville, on the other hand, now they go back home next week to host Seneca. Then they go on the road to Aurora and then host Mount Vernon in the last regular season week. So the Wildcats still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they do. Aurora and Mount Vernon especially are quality opposition. So and the fact that they are so one-dimensional and don't seem to be able to throw the ball is going to make it, tough for them. But their defense is awfully good, so that's going to put them in a good stead.
Well, it'll be an interesting matchup, though, between them and Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon doesn't like to go against the run, but they like to throw it.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight we saw that Cassville is vulnerable to the pass. So, that game in Week 9 is going to be really interesting. But
it really will.
For the Cubs now, homecoming, and almost anything can happen at homecoming, so we'll see how the Cubs come out. They'll take on McDonald County, that game next Friday at 7 o'clock. Leonard, once again, thanks so much for everything. It was a good game here from Burrow Fowler tonight.
Enjoyed doing it with you, and let's plan on making a date for next week. Same time, same station.
We will do it. As we come to the end of another broadcast, I'd like to thank all the fine people here at Monett for their help and hospitality this evening and all year long. From the coaching staff to Athletic Director Darrell Bradley to Dr. Brad Hanson, everyone in Monett is always a class act. I'd also like to thank Derek Ewell, Kyle Wood for visiting with us after the game and giving us their insight into the contest. A special thanks goes out to all our fine sponsors who make this broadcast possible. We could not do what we do without your support. As Cubs fans, please get out there and support these local businesses and let them know that you're appreciated. And finally, a big thank you to all our listeners for hanging with us each and every Friday night during the season. Hopefully you will enjoy listening to these games as much as Leonard and I enjoy bringing them to you. It is always an honor and a privilege to bring you Cub football. That'll wrap it up here from Monett tonight. Just a reminder, we'll be coming your way next week from Burrow Fowler Stadium as the Cubs will battle the McDonald County Mustangs. Pre-game will air at 6:30 with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. Once again, our final score, Monett 21, Cassville 20. For my broadcast partner, Leonard Bauer, our producer-engineer, Daisy Kaez, and for Jeff Ogle, this is Benji Finsky saying thanks for following the Cubs, and good night from Burrow Fowler Stadium.
You've been listening to Area High School here on the Dallas